Welcome.
Remix Rod.
Lemon on the Boogie podcast. We just three average guys here to talk a little thing about called sports. And as always, I got with me in a different order today, DOOZE.
Oh yeah, that's because I refreshed.
From Florissant, Missouri.
I'm up top.
He's in the top today. And down low, we got the Wonder Mouse, Dorian Anthony Brown, the Almighty.
Down low.
From Richmond, California.
I was just about to say, that is the wrong phrase to use.
Down low. And you got me, Rod D, right here from the Detroit, Michigan. But even though we all in different places, we all from the boogie.
The boogie.
We want to welcome each and every one of you to our 20th episode. That's 2 dimes, 4 nickels. However you want to look at it, but this number 20.
$1 minus 80 cents.
Okay, you're going too far now. We want to thank each and every one of you for continuing to join in, continue to uplift us, continue to follow us as we go along. You know, but tell your friends, hit the like button, plus the subscribe button. What's the other one? Follow. Press the follow button. Do all that stuff. Keep in touch with us. Drop us an email. Drop us a line if you want to.
Yeah.
Bam! boogieblaming@gmail.com. You know, drop us a line and, you know, ask us a question. We'll put it on here. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, email us, call us, send us some money, do something.
Do something. You know, all money, you know, you can always send us money to this right here.
Don't call unless you sending some money.
Go to BIOTBpodcast.com. Press that donate button, which I'm going to put on it today to make sure y'all got a way of donating.
You put dude's number on there so y'all can call him.
Call dudes.
Call me up.
Call dudes. Call me.
If you need someone to talk to.
That's Mr. Telephone Man.
That's right. If you try to call me and you ain't got no money, it's going to be something wrong with my line.
I'm so scared right now.
Well, at least we made it to what, 16 shows?
What's going on? What I missed?
That's 17th one, man. That's our 17th one. Might be our last one.
17.
This 17.
We had a couple shaky moments there, but we made it to 17. But this might be it.
Go ahead, Dante. Take it away.
Take us off there.
This is. I thought it was coming up.
We done. We done.
None of this is, guys, because you remember all this stuff. All this comes from what you say, Roddy. The internet always wins.
Yes, undefeated.
Again, here we go. The internet is undefeated. The story of the young and the reckless. Zion Williamson. I ain't gonna go through the rehash of what's going on, but y'all know last week, couple weeks ago, Zion had his gender announcement for his baby, you know, with his pregnant girlfriend, Akima, who, by the way, gentlemen, if you want, you can look Akima up on Instagram. She's right there.
We'd rather not.
Oh!
But, gentlemen, this is where the love triangle gets in. Miss Mariah Mills, y'all know this is the one that started it all. Social media, the internet, undefeated. After the little gender announcement party and everything, this little young lady came out. She didn't like what happened. All y'all can read. I ain't gonna go through it, but y'all see a lot of hood rat going on, a lot of hating going on, a lot of smoking trees, 420, a lot of bitches. But the biggest thing, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing from all this, I boy Zion a freak. Y'all see the last paragraph down there, and this was her most recent tweet, y'all. Social media is having this battle on social media is going berserk. But who's mad about? What's she mad about? Wait, there's more. There's a third girl. The young and the reckless. Jamil Taylor. Came out like yesterday, 2 days ago, Rodney. you see her comments, what she had to say about Zion. I don't speak Ebonics, but that's in the Ebonics. So we got a professor with us. He can translate all that, but y'all get the point of what she's saying to read it all. But the thing about it is, gentlemen, basically when all said and done, these two tag teaming. They teaming up on Zion baby mama. This is what Yamil, her most recent post, she had to say. Somebody tell your girl guy over there, what's up? If they make that call, they can be like, what was that show? Jack Tripper, Dorian?
Three's Company.
Yeah. But the one they don't like, they just want the hood rat out, which is his new baby mama. Or his baby mama who must really adore and love because.
Well, first of all,
so let's go, Dorian. Let's go, Dorian.
If you're gonna make a clap back, please be able to spell.
Social media, though. This is social media. The phone.
No.
She did better doing a press conference speaking.
No, there's no text speech. There's no text speech for beneath. Beneath is not spelled BENNETH. So
we know
what about hypocrisy? How you spell that?
Oh, hypocracy.
You got to talk about Rodney. Just for to see what Dorian's talking about.
One mistake, and y'all just will not let that brother leave it alone.
No,
will not leave it alone.
But
look at all.
But on the serious,
this is a new
on the serious side, though.
Dorian, there it is. There it is. On the serious side. Put Dorian
on the serious side,
Dorian.
though. What this says
what you doing on that with the woman?
as you were alluding
I don't know.
to.
Hey,
as you were alluding
I ain't getting in trouble by myself.
Right. As you were alluding to, although facetiously, it's social media getting out of control. And what has happened is that drama has become a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
Drama, personal drama, real life drama has become a commodity to be bought and sold. So it's like that whole thing when people say the first thing when they start off a sentence with, "Hey, I don't mean no disrespect."
No disrespect.
Something disrespectful is coming afterwards. So notice that the first thing she said was, "This ain't about no clout." Well, that means that's exactly what it's about.
Yeah.
So
that's the only thing it could be about.
So people have now
go to my page, Instagram, go to my fans, OnlyFans.
People have begun to monetize their personal issues, whether those are good personal issues or bad personal issues. It's all worth some money. Mm-hmm. So they want videos to go viral. They want memes to go viral. This is how they get followers to their social media accounts and all of that kind of stuff. And to me, that's exactly what it is. What this is. None of this was anything that needs to be put out in the public the way it was put out in the public, because all Zion did was post a picture of him with this woman that he, was, and it was a gender reveal thing. So he didn't put any of their names out there or anything, but you want to come back and do that. It was unnecessary to me. It would do that privately. But again, drama sells.
That wasn't all Zion did.
But then,
well, yeah.
What was the title? What was the title? Yeah, that wasn't. No, he did Zion is a freak. Zion's a freak. But we would have never known Zion was a freak. Like Dorian said, if these young ladies don't put this all out there. That's why it's titled, "There's Some Hoes in the House."
Go ahead, dude.
It's all about clout because, let's be honest here. Those women, even though they're acting like they're so upset about Zion being with another woman, you think that Zion's the only athlete that they're messing with or entertainer?
Or doctor or lawyer?
Yeah. So, it can only be about clout. They're trying to, use his name for fame. And trying to get paid off of his name, and now, like we said earlier, they'll be able to do the little hostings and parties
to my page.
Yeah, the hostings and parties, and that's part of their new title now. Mistress of Zion Williams, or porn star Zion Williams fling or whatever. Right. So that's their new pull to get more money
because
hostings and other things.
The thing is, dude, didn't nobody really know who they were until she started making all these accusations against Zion. So now I bet you her OnlyFans page has like tripled.
Yeah. And then what's the purpose of all this? Talking about all the different things she did with Zion Williams.
Yeah, that's just your private stuff, man. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
She was just trying to get clout.
Yeah, go to the slide of the other woman.
Okay. Hey, all right. Any of y'all need y'all kitchen clean,
Okay, look what she says. If it's not about clout, why didn't I get my Bentiaga or Bentayga and my Richard Millie last summer? So she mad because he bought someone else. He spent money on someone else that he didn't spend on her.
Yeah, it wasn't about love. That she's brokenhearted.
Oh, by the way, and one last point, I forgot to put that quote she put up there. She basically said, "You been laying up with me knowing you got all these other hoes pregnant. You nasty motherfucker." Semi-quote, unquote. How they say that? Paraquote?
That's a little paraphrasing, but we get the point.
Yeah.
We get the point. Yeah. All right, that's enough on Zion, man. That's enough on
Zion.
Hey, Rodney, but I tell you this, guys. I've always said this one there. I have a solution to this tanking problem in the NBA. I actually sent this solution to David Stern, to the NBA, actually a few years back. And this is a true story. So here's the solution.
Since he's been dead?
You guys can, he's dead. That's how long it's been. I sent this back years ago. He's dead. So check it out. And you guys will understand where I'm going with this. What happened today? News down in championship land of Georgia.
Well, I'm glad you asked, man, because it seems like each and every week we get a different story regarding these athletes. And today the story was all about Jalen Carter. So give you a little background on this situation. In January, a week after Georgia won the national championship, as a matter of fact, it was the same day of their parade celebration. One of the players and one of the recruiting specialists unfortunately died in a motor vehicle accident. And today we found out that Jalen Carter was actually involved in that situation. He actually had an arrest warrant issued for him today. And he did say that he would turn himself in and defend himself in these charges. However, what the situation is, what they're accusing him of doing is actually racing with the other driver. They were doing, allegedly, over 100 miles an hour, sometimes on the wrong side of the street, sometimes on the shoulder of the road. And unfortunately, in this situation, two people actually lost their lives. So that's what we're going to talk about as far as Jalen Carter. The problem that I had with this is that Georgia, again, allegedly knew this information back in January, and nobody said anything. And the problem that I have is that had they got in front of this thing, it wouldn't be as bad as it is today. Had they said, this is what happened, because hey, I got to be the first to say, when I was 19, 20 years old, I was racing on the freeway also. It's just something that, being young and stupid, that you do. As a matter of fact, one of our friends, I'm driving in a Hyundai Elantra racing on 255 in the boogie against one of our friends who had, what was that car that Donovan had? It was a Toyota Celica Sport.
No, you talking about Keita's car?
Keita's car.
Toyota Corolla GTS. So here we are. We doing 110 on 255 in a car that wasn't even supposed to do 90. So young guys do stupid stuff. And, not that it's an excuse or anything like that. But in this particular situation, someone lost their life, unfortunately. And Georgia had the
obligation, in my opinion, to put this information out there, to get in front of the situation and not make it as bad as it seems right now. Right now, it seems like they were trying to have a cover up. And if that wasn't the case, then, please change my mind. Tell me something different, because that's the way that I feel, that they were trying to cover it up and now they got caught. So now they're saying, we're investigating, blah, blah, blah. But you've been knowing this since January. You investigated this. You knew what happened. Y'all, everybody muted? What's going on, D?
Right.
No. It was muted because I try to mute so you don't hear my background noise so you can talk. But I didn't know if you were popcorning that to a particular person or if anybody could speak up, because I didn't want to
talk to, bro. It's a talk show.
Well, I didn't want to get muted for talking over anybody. But well, my question about this is okay. My question, a couple of questions in terms of Georgia's obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so question what they would be covering up, in the sense that what are they trying to get in front of, because he's leaving. He's no longer part of the program. So it's like, what good does it, in terms of if they're going to be investigating, what is going to be the outcome of that investigation? They can't do anything about it. What was it that they can't suspend him? He's no longer going to be there. So I don't necessarily know what it is that they could actually do about the situation that they would need to cover it up, is my point. I think that for the most part, they just didn't kind of want to deal with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't see what they would be covering up, what would necessarily come back on them that they would need to get out in front of, because really what they could say is, honestly, if anybody was to ask or to question them, well, hey, he's no longer a member of the program, he's, eligible for the draft, he's going to be going to the draft, and the rest of this is up to the police in terms of the investigation. I don't even necessarily know why Georgia the University of Georgia would have to do an investigation. What would they be investigating? Because what would they find out, and what would they do about anything, whatever it is that they found out? So again, I'm really have more questions than I have necessarily any definitive answers. That's just one of the things I just don't get.
So,
well, real quick,
go ahead.
Oh, what I was going to say, with like Dorian was saying, in regards to the University of Georgia, really not having any involvement in this day. Now, the only connector why the university itself would still be involved per se in the investigation was because, remember, one of the individuals, the young lady, was an employee of the university.
Staffer.
Jalen Carter is, leaving and going to the leagues. There is still that connection there. As we found out, actually happens, in this, so it wasn't just driving involved. We actually kind of found out it was Jalen Carter who was out here street racing, which led to this ultimate unfortunate accident. Now, the problem and it kind of goes back to the Brandon Miller kind of situation we were discussing last week. And that's like we discussed, we're not going to get to the gun laws around the country in different states. But I tell you what, gentlemen, the South, I don't want to offend nobody, the South is still backwards. Do you know that the charges that Jalen Carter was charged with, they put a warrant out for whatever he's charged with, it's a misdemeanor. And so that excessive speeding, driving in Arizona and everything else is a misdemeanor in Georgia. So how does this affect Jalen Carter's draft status? And we were talking about Brandon Miller's draft status being potentially the number one draft pick, knowing that potentially he's not at the school. He's just only going to potentially with a misdemeanor. Problem I have with this new news from this whole unfortunate accident.
Okay, hold up, Dan. I'm gonna need you to try to work on your connection right quick. We keep hearing
there's a lag.
Yeah, some of your words are missing. So, but I got the gist of what you were saying. The going back to what Dorian was saying, the question of why would they want to cover this up? Yeah, and the biggest reason is what Dan said, is because of the other person that passed away in the accident, who was still a member of the Georgia coaching staff. So there is a relationship right there. Georgia is basically just a what is it, COIOA? They're just trying to cover their own self. Because I mean, bad publicity is never good. I don't care what anybody say. All publicity is good publicity. No, it ain't. Bad publicity is just bad, especially in the case of Jalen Carter, because now this is a guy that by pretty much every draft pundit considers him to be the best player in this year's draft. Now he might not be drafted first, but they do consider him being the best player in this draft. So now the question comes about again, same thing that we were talking about with Brandon Miller. How much of this outside noise is going to affect him moving forward, especially in this draft? And you have teams, most teams that are at the top of the draft are there for reasons, because they their front office, their culture, their players, they're just not really that good. So if you have a bad culture, and not your management is not strong, you cannot risk drafting a player that has these quote unquote issues that high in the draft. So because of that, yeah, his draft status may fall. Now you're gonna have those teams that are lower that have stronger front offices that just won't care. They're going to see the talent in this guy, and he has immense talent, and say, "Hey, look, we can get him in our locker room, and we can take care of all this outside noise." So he may not fall as far as some may think, but in my opinion, I think he will see somewhat of a slide based on this situation. Go ahead, D. You're muted. Hold on.
Sorry. Try to so y'all won't hear the background noise, because you can hear the baby screaming.
We love the baby, man.
Well, again, okay. Well, what I'll say is that you didn't answer the question. You started talking about his draft status. We were talking about Georgia.
Okay.
And like what? So the whole idea of the relationship with the you had the staff member, that was in the car and so on and so forth. So again, I still just wonder what it is that Georgia essentially would necessarily be covering up. I just hate the idea of the cover up. I just think that they were really just more or less kind of trying to hoping to really avoid, the whole situation, because as you talked about with the bad publicity. So again, like I said, my questions were about Georgia itself. I just, like I heard somebody talking earlier that was talking, again, going back to the Brandon Miller thing, was saying that, it would have been better for Alabama that as soon as they found out that Brandon Miller was the one that did something, that they suspend the player. Even if it comes out to be nothing, right? That they suspend the player, suspend him for 2 games or 3 games or whatever, and that way you've gotten on top of it. This is a different situation in the sense that he's no longer playing, he's no longer part of the team, he's gone. So I just wonder what that particular investigation would uncover, because the person, again, the people that died weren't in the car with Jalen Carter. You understand what I'm getting at? So that was kind kind of my thing about it, and just understanding or trying to understand what Georgia, would be trying to hide, so to speak. That's all that I was really saying. But now I agree with the whole draft thing. It's going to be teams that are not going to care, and like Dante was saying, if it's a misdemeanor, they really ain't going to care. It's not like what happened with Leonard Little in St. Louis.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
He was directly responsible.
Right. Exactly. So.
Well, that's another sad story again for a potential #1 draft pick going to the league. But in other sports, what else we got going on, Rodney?
There's always more sports.
Always more sports.
This wasn't on our program sheet, but we're going to have to talk about it for a hot second.
It was supposed to be a quick blurb.
Yeah, it was. But since he brought it up, we're going to have to talk about this for a hot second because another instance that happened this week, Russell Westbrook had a very similar incident coming out of the locker room against Phoenix. But out there with Dante, with a fan that was saying some ungodly words to Russell Westbrook, and then fans want to complain about Russell for confronting the guy. People always have that what we call it, that online
online courage.
Keyboard courage.
Keyboard courage.
Yeah. So
Twitter fingers.
But then had he straight up cold cocked the dude, Russell Westbrook would have been in the wrong. But there has to be some kind of
etiquette
mechanism in place that when these things happen, when these fans who think that just because they buy a ticket, they have the right to say whatever they want to say. One of the things me and Dorian always talk about is the freedom of speech thing. Everybody saying that, I have the right to say whatever. We have freedom of speech. Yeah, you do have the freedom of speech, but you also have the freedom to accept those consequences that come
of your speech.
So,
right. Yeah.
Painful consequences.
But yeah, so that's an issue. That is an issue in a lot of these arenas. I'm going to say all of them, but a lot of these arenas.
Well, what I don't understand is the fact that, how could you really think that you could walk up to anybody, let alone a 6'4" athlete, and say derogatory words or statements, towards them, and just and that's it, no repercussions or whatever, or he's not going to say anything, because you definitely wouldn't do it, walking down the street. You wouldn't walk up to a man.
You wouldn't do that.
Started disrespecting him, because it's always that that threat of violence. So why do you feel like you can do it in that arena? It has to be some kind of etiquette that you have to go by. It's okay to cheer for your team and support your team, and we do that, cheer and then jeer the other team. But when you start getting disrespectful and talking about family members, and then you cross the line.
Calling them outside of their name.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because as someone who has been to a lot of games in a lot of different places, it's interesting how not only do you see that from the fans to the players, and it's much easier in a basketball game because you're so much closer to the players, right? But also you see it between fans. Like I refuse now, even though y'all know I go to a lot of games in a lot of different places. I refuse to wear opposing jerseys anymore. After an experience that I had out here in Oakland. It's funny when I tell the story, but man, for a second, it was kind of scary. Like for a second, me and my dad really thought, this was years ago, obviously, when dad was alive, RIP, to my dad. But we thought for a second we were going to have to fight our way out of Oakland Stadium because the Bengals were winning. It was crazy. So again, like you said, it's okay to root for your team, but when you start being disrespectful, then you really, there should be some sportsmanship or whatever. Or they talk about the athletes having sportsmanship. Well, then they should exhibit those same values and that kind of thing in the stands as well. But again, it's this idea that fans believe that they own players. They believe that they are the ones that pay your salary. So they feel that they should have the right to be able to talk to you any kind of way. But no, they should not. And one of these times they're gonna learn, as we saw with the what's in the palace. So
yeah, 5'3" guy can't take on a 6'10" in shape athlete,
and especially not three of them. Especially not three of them coming in the stand.
So, like I said, we spent a little bit more time on that than we had planned. But I thought that was, since Dante brought it up.
Great apropos, right?
Yes, our show. We can do that if we want to.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been leading it, so we're gonna go the directions I say.
Speaking of Washington, was it yesterday? Or is it yesterday? Washington actually Dan Snyder actually received 2 offers to buy his team. Both offers were for $6 billion
with a B.
With a B to buy his team. A man that, well, I'm not gonna get into all the allegations he has against him. If y'all want to get into that, just go on Google and put in Dan Snyder.
Oh, okay. I thought you were referring to one of the new potential owners. Oh, okay. You talking about
Go Google Dan Snyder. You see all the bad stuff he did. But at the end of the day, this man made a $900 million investment, and now he's about to get $6 billion with a B in return. But the part that we want to talk about is that one of the groups is from one of the ownership groups is from Canada. Mm-hmm. We don't really care about them. It ain't nothing good coming from Canada. But the other group has one of our favorite basketball players, and that's Magic Johnson. We talked about this. There you go, dudes. There you go. D ain't looking. We talked about this. We talked about this last week. So here's the question I have for y'all. Here's the question I have for y'all. We got 2 offers. Both of them seem to be pretty close to the same thing. $6 billion, fully financed. So Dan Snyder gonna get all his money. So it's up to Dan Snyder to decide who he wants to pick. And then, of course, they got to be approved by the NFL. But here's the question. What do you think the probability is of Dan Snyder picking the team with Magic Johnson in it?
The same amount that the same odds that you have of winning at roulette. -1 out of 32. I took statistics. Stats 4 at U of I. None. Zilch. Nada. Zero.
I'll just play. I know the true answer, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate from this aspect. Okay. I'm gonna play it from Dan Snyder's perspective. So, of course, we kind of agree. We know that the team probably be sold to the Canadian because you just brought up something. Even whoever Dan wants to sell it to is fine, but the rest of the owners have to approve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see Dan Snyder trying to throw a monkey wrench at the NFL and all the owners, what they're doing to him. And selling it to Magic. Remember that you turn these brothers down. So they're both I was with you. Hey, I tried to diversify the NFL, and it was these other guys that said no, Magic. And that's what I think should happen.
Now, see, I was with you. I think I'm with you in that. I think Dan Snyder is going to be a prick about this whole thing.
Yes, sir.
But I think because the NFL does have a diversity issue and would love to have minority ownership, that he gonna sell it to the investors from Canada just to spite them.
Exactly.
But would it be spiting them? He just gonna get the votes. He's just gonna fast track. So it gives the rest of the owners nothing to even contemplates.
So here's the thing: the owners want him gone anyway. So whoever brings before them to say this who's gonna buy the team, they're gonna take him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still up to Dan Snyder.
Yeah,
and like I said,
I think that was your original question. Will they? If it's the Magic Group, is the rest of the NFL owners going to be like, no, that's what we were talking about?
No.
I think they're going to agree to the Canadian group.
See, I think again,
funny just trying to Magic Mill.
This just the ride view from the Detroit. I think that the NFL owners, because of all this other pressure that they're getting for minority hiring, for coaches and offensive coordinators and all this stuff, Rooney Rule, all this other stuff, I think that they would love the opportunity to have a different color face in their boardroom. Just to say, hey, we got a brother in here with us. You know, everybody got that all these white folks got one black friend, right? They want to say, I got my one black friend. Mm-hmm. But I think Dan Snyder knows that, because I'm pretty sure they had these conversations. Dan Snyder knows that. Of course. And so his one parting gift on the way out the door is to flick his nose against all these other owners. Say, I know this is what you want. I know this is the one you want. But I'm not gonna pick them. I'm picking the other folks just because that's what you want.
I don't think that's what they think they want. Because you look at the Carolina's owner, what is the Middle Eastern or wherever he's from, Shaq Khan or whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Carolina's owner was Richardson, the one that they got rid of because of his racist remarks or whatever.
And they didn't bring no brothers in and out either, did they?
So that's
nope.
That's the authority.
And Shaq Khan went to U of I.
Yeah, I saw that. That's the closest authority you're going to get.
ILL.
Right? But again, if you want to spike the NFL, this is why we do this, right? If I'm Snyder, I'm going to sell to Magic's group, because now it puts the burden with what you're talking about. It's going to show, it's going to see, is the NFL really want to diversify? Well, here you go, the rest of you. Now you guys get the vote on Magic. And if Magic and them don't get it, guess gets the blame? The rest of those NFL owners. So are they really trying to diversify? You see what I'm saying?
So
that's why you say, yeah, you want Magic in them group.
Do we really think that the owner who refused to change the name of his racist team is going to sell his team to a black dude?
And that's the irony. That's what I'm saying. Just to spite everybody, he gonna do a flip-flop it all.
Again, if you want to spite them,
to be diverse, Rodney, it goes to your point, Rodney. You want to be diverse. You want to diversify the NFL. I'm gonna go get Magic Squad here. I was supposed to be racist. Didn't want to change the name. All the things against him. It would make sense, and it would make him look good on the way out. Hey, he tried, but the rest of the owners said no.
Dan Snyder don't want to look good on the way out.
Yeah, he don't care.
He want to burn this sucker down as much as he can.
If he wanted to look good, they would have put
burning it down about How is he burning the house down, and he's going to make $6 billion either way by selling it to the Canadian group? What is he doing? He's not hurting anything. He's not hurting any of the other owners.
But hold up,
they're like, thank God.
Look, if I sell to the brother, I'm doing what the league wants, right? That they want diversity.
No,
I'm doing what the league
wants to make it look like they're diverse.
Okay,
and that's what I'm saying. You try to sell to Magic in the group, but the other owners have to vote the approval,
so and they will.
Pressure back on them.
Bruh, what I'm telling you,
the pressure is already on the other owners.
What I'm telling you is, it doesn't matter who the group is. Whoever Dan Snyder gives them, they're gonna approve him because they want Dan Snyder gone. Dan Snyder is a tire around their neck, and they about to throw him off into the river. So they want Dan Snyder gone, no matter what.
They want him gone. But who do you want
exactly.
back in?
So Dan Snyder gonna do whatever. Dan Snyder gonna do whatever he can to make the NFL look bad because he's being forced out. Okay. He don't want to sell.
So wait a minute. So how do you make the NFL look bad? By signing Canadian?
By not giving you what you want.
What do they want?
They want diversity. They want to look like they're diverse.
Okay, so
what you're saying,
if you
treat me Magic. No, listen to what I'm saying. if you give me Magic, you've given me what I want. And this is Magic Johnson. How can I go wrong with Magic Johnson?
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
That's a big assumption, Rodney. You're saying that the other NFL owners are willing to want to go that path with this black ownership group. That's a big assumption. You keep forgetting that the other owners get to vote.
And but see, what you again, here's the thing. What you're failing to understand is they want Dan Snyder gone.
I know, we know this.
Way
they
more.
Gone. So Dan is gone.
So even if I didn't want a black, listen to me.
It's easier this way. You're going to get $6 billion either way. He's gone. So for the rest of the owners, dudes and Rodney, who do you think the rest of the owners will be more apt to vote for in the ownership group? Magic's groups, which they talked about diversity. So you actually think that the rest of those owners would approve a black-owned new NFL ownership team?
Now, so let's go back. Let's make a correction here. Magic is a part of the ownership group.
That's what I said.
It ain't a black owned ownership group.
Okay, well,
Magic is a part of this group.
Mm-hmm. A part of that group. And wait a minute, what about Jordan?
But Magic will be Jordan, one of the head people in that thing.
And
so
let's not forget about Jordan trying to be a part of that group as well. So you have two of the biggest names ever in sports. It would be great for the NFL. But do the other owners, but that's my thing. Do the other owners want that? Hey, we saw what Michael did in Charlotte as an owner. So do you think they would really want these two guys to come in?
Man, they would love to have a minority owner, whatever his percentage is, to be the face of that organization. They would love that. Do you understand how much?
Well, why hasn't it happened in all these years prior? With all
it's a money thing, bro.
Money. What?
It's a money thing. The problem is.
So you mean there haven't been other groups that come together, black athletes or whoever they are, and put their money together to try to buy an NFL team before?
Not for $6 billion.
Well, we're at this age now, Rodney. We're talking today, but I'm talking about in the past. $6 billion. You can get any group, like you said.
Whatever the number was. Whatever the number was, if you'd have had someone to come in. So here's the thing. Remember, these are fully financed.
What other prominent African American is a minority owner or owner of any NFL team? I don't know any. You guys know any off the top of your head?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of.
You know any off the top of your head?
No. There are. What you're saying? There's a difference between being
majority owner.
Yeah, being one of the majority owners versus someone with just some percentage.
Said Magic is just part of it. He's not the majority. I understand.
Again, they didn't give a percentage of what all they would say is Magic Johnson is part of this group.
It's part of the group.
That's all they say.
But Serena is part of the Dolphins ownership.
Yeah, Serena does have a part ownership of the Dolphins.
That's just recently. Yeah, she's part of, like you said.
No, she did that a while ago.
She did that a while back.
Her and her sister.
Part of that group.
Her and Venus bought into the Dolphins.
And that's Serena. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about. Where have you seen these other prominent individuals coming together to do what Magic and their group are doing?
They haven't, because it's difficult to get that financing that's needed to buy these clubs. You think like getting $6 billion or whatever the number is an easy thing to do.
Rodney, I'm talking about groups collectively. I don't care who you are. You saying they? Who are the they? I just asked you, give me examples of individuals that came together collectively.
Dante, we're talking about whatever minority group. I don't care who you got. Whatever, any group, black, white, Hispanic, whatever.
That's my point.
It is difficult. It is very, very difficult to get financing for $6 billion.
I understand that. Listen. Hold on. We're not talking about the money. Man. You keep going back to the money.
Dude, let him finish.
Hold on. He keeps going to
He got the mute button.
Yeah, he got the mute. He keeps going to the mute button. We agree on the $6 billion, Rodney. It's not about the money. Who gets it? The question was, will the NFL owners or Dan Snyder turn it over to this group, which Magic happens to be a part of? It doesn't matter about the money or the cost. Will the NFL owners vote to turn this team over to a minority, probably a minority group? The money doesn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those Dante moments that y'all gonna get used to, because Dante gonna take a point and won't shut up to listen to other folks' point. Listen, man.
I did. You keep running to the $6 billion.
You're still talking.
You're not listening.
Push the button.
Dan Snyder.
You're going away from your original question.
The original question. Dan Snyder is going to the reason to ask the question. What's the percentage? The choice. And you came up with the same answer that I was saying, but you went the opposite direction. In that Dan Snyder is going to pick, because he has the option of picking which group he wants to get it. He's going to pick the group that he knows the NFL does not want. The NFL wants to show that they are diverse, that they're very inclusive in everything that they do. So yeah, I got Magic Johnson, who is one of the biggest African American names, celebrities out there. I got Magic Johnson that's a part of this group. So the NFL owners are going to want Magic Johnson to be part of their organization, be part of their group. But because that's what the NFL owners are going to want, Dan Snyder is not going to do that. He's going to go for the people in Canada. That was my whole point. And the other question that you asked,
they can still vote them down, right?
But they're not. That's the point. That's the point.
They're saying the same thing. So
they're not. What I keep telling you is whatever group that's presented to the NFL committee, either one, whichever one is presented, they're gonna pick them because they want to get rid of freaking Dan Snyder. They don't care.
We know this, but now you're going away from what your question was again. The diversity.
I'm not going away from the point. It's the same question.
You're not getting what I'm saying. You asked the thing. Why would they?
Lord! Oh Lord!
You're not following where I'm going with that, Rodney.
I'm not, because you just got me lost. You just got me lost.
You keep saying that the NFL owners want Dan Snyder to go with the black team or a black-owned minority group, but we know Dan Snyder is going
to. That's not what he said.
Hold on. No, that's what I'm saying. Rodney's saying that Dan he's going to go get the Canadians to come in. That's what he wants, to spite them. Even though the NFL owners want diversity and all this other stuff. So it goes back to, if that's the case, the NFL owners can vote against the Canadian group, which puts it back.
But they're not. Listen, man. The part that they're not going to vote against either one of the groups. Whatever one that's presented to them, they're going to vote yes for them because they want to get rid of Dan Snyder and they want to do it right now. So it doesn't matter. But the thing is, Dan Snyder has the right to accept whichever offer he wants to accept. It doesn't go to the owners for that. It's all up to Dan Snyder in that part. But the owners get to choose. The owners get to approve it. The only way they will turn it down is if some kind of background thing come about, or if they find out that the financing that they have is not going to go through. That's the only way they'll vote against it. Other than that, whoever Dan Snyder say, hey, this is who I'm selling to, they're going to accept it. Go ahead, D.
They can do the NSYNC. Bye.
Exactly. Exactly. Boy.
Okay, Mad Dog and Stephen A.
Anyway, man, I gotta let me get back to my thing.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen though.
Y'all got y'all blood pressure pill?
Well, I'm gonna need something.
I'm 48 minutes late taking mine.
Like I said, it would be the great spite to the NFL, and if that were to happen, if Magic's group was to get it, then look for Lamar Jackson to definitely go to Washington. Get it on that note.
Dante.
What?
So,
what?
Last week we talked about, was it the week before? Week before we talked about Dan Snyder and him selling his team. Getting 2 offers for $6 billion. Well, he accepted.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We went back and forth on that episode. That's right.
He accepted one last week, and that was the offer presented by a group that includes Magic Johnson.
The legend. That was Josh Harris led group.
But this week, we find out. Well, let's go back. There are some owners that were upset that Dan Snyder accepted this $6 billion offer because they thought that the team should have been worth $7 billion. And they were upset about it, but not to the point of not wanting to approve the current deal, because, like I said, they want to get rid of Dan Snyder. So,
right, we all know that.
You said what?
I said, yeah, we all know they want to get rid of Dan Snyder.
Exactly. But this week we found out that there was another offer that's on the table as of right now for, guess what? $7 billion. So talk to us about that, Dante.
Well, I think a little more insight to that, Rod. You didn't put it all out there. So, like you said, Josh Harris's group, HSBE, and his partner, they were the group that initially were supposed to get the team for $6.5 billion. We thought it was a done deal. They were working on some other stuff. And, of course, there were some other teams that were actually involved in that bidding war. We actually thought the team was going to be sold. But come to find out, there was another bid like Rod is talking about. And I'm just going to, before I jump to that, Rod, I want to take your thunder away for the next segment, because we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go back and talk about, we were talking about why black ownership. We were specifically talking about Magic Johnson and being a part of that group. Well, I went back and did some research, and as far as, black billionaires, first of all, and NBA requirements to buy a team. So what you guys are looking at, let me bring it up here a little more for you. These are the 16 list of black billionaires. This is worldwide. So what I did is broke them out. So the ones you see in yellow and those that are highlighted in blue, I pulled out the Americans. So you see the African Americans over there. So one of the things we always talk about, oh man, Magic Johnson buying a team, they would be minority owners. One of the things about buying an NFL team, first of all, it costs. So just using the Washington Commanders total at $6 billion, well, if you look at this, guys, this is one of the reasons why there isn't black ownership as far as NFL teams. Total black billionaires worth in the world is only $60.8 billion. So what I did up there, I went and broke out the African-American billionaires, and I pulled them out by sports and industry and global business and finance. So Robert Smith and David Stewart, and I hope, dudes, you should know who David Stewart is, you guys being back from there, are two of the wealthiest black billionaires in the world, but they're in a total different industries. So actually, if they wanted to, these two gentlemen by themselves individually could easily go buy an NFL team if they wanted to, but they don't. You never hear about these guys. So I always put up the names of like Oprah Winfrey, the sports and entertainment people that we kind of always hear about to show their net worth. So you see with Oprah and Kanye, Rihanna, and Michael Jordan, you see what their net worth is. If they were to put up their own money to buy a team, they possibly could. But the NFL has a requirement, a 30% equity requirement. That means if anybody that wants to be the owner of the NFL team, they themselves, one person of the group, has to come up with 30% of what that team is being sold for. And so when you look at it, I broke down that 30% equity of what that would mean individually for our African-American billionaires, what we have here. So for instance, Michael Jordan would have to put up for that team, what's that? $500 million per se. And all these guys combined in their net worth. So that's why I have in the blue. All those entertainers that we know is at $10 billion. If they did their 30%, it would only cost $3 billion to buy a team. Guess what, guys? The Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals are evaluated at just over $3 billion. But you don't see, people going out trying to buy or trying to remove that, shrink that down for your ride to get back NFL teams, because it's very costly to run and operate an NFL team first and foremost. So what happened, we thought Magic was part of a group which was led by Josh Harris and this group at HBSE, who own the Philadelphia Flyers, hockey teams, and everything else. We'll come to find out the deal hasn't been signed yet. because apparently there's a new billionaire that we didn't know about, and it's a dookie, which shocked me because I had already compiled this list. And so, Rodney, I wanted to lead this segue off to you because you brought it to my attention, and I'm like, what? And that's why I said the NFL during our discussion would not sell to a black majority owner. And then this story came out with Rod threw me the name of who the individual was and where it came like a dookie, a basketball player. Where did he get all this money? So with that being said, now I want to turn it back over to Rod. And where did this $7 billion bid come from? And who is our newest black billionaire?
So our newest black billionaire, as a matter of fact, this is what we're going to do. We're going to share my screen.
Yes, sir.
My newest black billionaire, as Dante has so eloquently stated, comes from Duke University. And this gentleman right here, the brother on the right, wow. His name is Brian Davis. He played.
I remember Duke. Brian Davis. Ball with Grant Hill.
What was it, 92?
90, 91, 92, 93. 91, I think he graduated in
91, 92.
He had the hot top fade too, like Grant Hill.
Yes, sir. All the brothers did.
Brian Davis has a energy company, a clean energy company that he started. Him and Christian Laettner, as a matter of fact. And the other thing we found out, Brian Davis is he's already an owner of a sports franchise. Well, he was an owner of a sports franchise. He was one of the founding owners of the DC. What was the DC team called? DC United soccer team. The DC United soccer team. He was one of the owners for the DC United soccer team. He sold that to continue his business. And when the Commanders became available, Brian Davis, who's a native DCer, decided he wanted to put his bid in. So he had this company that's a clean energy company. They did an evaluation of the company, and it turns out that his company is worth, check it, $50 billion.
With a B. He sold his intellectual property.
So
he actually has intellectual property in lean management that he sold for 50 with a B $billion.
So Brian Davis is now flush with all of this cash. So guess what he wants to do? Being a sports fan, he wants to buy the Washington Commanders. And he's offered Dan Snyder $7 billion in cold, hard cash to buy the team. Not finance.
And guess what else he did, Rodney?
Straight cash.
Straight cash,
in his offer, he's offering $1 million when you sign a contract. I'm sorry, $1 billion when you sign a contract.
$1 billion, 30%.
And then the other $6 billion within 7 days. So he can have this thing financed paid off within 7 days.
If it's 30, if they have to have 30% of the value of the team, if the team is valued at $6 billion, 30% is going to be $1.8 billion.
What is being sold for?
No,
right.
So
that's
actually,
what he has to do. He has $7 billion.
I needed to correct.
So that's what Rodney's saying. He's offering to give $1 billion right now.
No, but I'm saying, that's not 30% equity.
No. Let me correct that. He actually misspoke a little bit. What they have to have is 30% liquid. They have to, in order. So if
that's what I'm saying. Liquid equity.
If the four of us were buying a team,
not the same thing.
If the four of us are buying a team, we have to have one person with 30% equity in the
one person that can put up that 30%.
Yeah, you have to have one
30%.
So at least one person has to have 30% of the team. Now you can have
and what's 30% of $6 billion
broken out. The other 70% can be broken out between 50 different people. But one person has to have 30% of the team. That's what he was talking about. So in this case,
one person
had $1.8 billion. to pay the $6 million. So what's his name? The one that the Magic guy.
Right, and he's offered to do what to Snyder?
No. What I'm saying is the guy right now. What's the other guy with Magic? What's his name? Dante, you just said it. The dude with Magic.
Rails? You talking about Mitchell Rails?
No,
Mitchell Rails.
Magic. Okay, Rails. Well, okay, whoever
Rails.
Okay, so he has to have $1.8 billion. He has to put up $1.8 billion, be it cash, equity from another business, whatever. He has to have $1.8 billion. His financing. So he's responsible for that.
Liquid
Everybody else gets together and they come up with the other 70%. But what Brian Davis is doing, Brian Davis is giving you all 100% straight cash. No bank loans, no nothing, just straight cash. So he wants to be the 100% owner of the Commanders. Mm-hmm. But the question comes up: if this offer was there, why did Dan Snyder take the $6 billion offer, not the $7 billion offer? Dante?
2 points to that, Rodney.
Okay.
2 points to that. Another thing to mention about this deal, he is also willing to indemnify Dan Snyder. So that means any trouble that Dan Snyder would have
as a commander,
owning that team, as the owner of the Commanders, any trouble that Dan Snyder would have, lawsuits coming back to him as the Commanders, would be gone. So he's willing to indemnify himself as well. But to your second part, Rodney, as I said when we first discussed this, was that initially or owners were not willing to sell to a black majority owner. So to me, it's like this was suppressed. So now you got $7 billion, or a guy worth $50 billion, ready to pay straight cash, homie. So what now do the NFL owners do when it comes to that vote? And what is taking Dan Snyder so long to sign on straight cash?
So
what's going on?
Again, we go opposites on this. To me, like I said, I read a story earlier.
We're not going opposite. Why hasn't Dan Snyder, black man, that's offering $7 billion the go ahead? Why was this suppressed? We're not going different directions. This goes back to what our previous discussion. So Dan was never willing, nor will the NFL owners approve the sale of one of their good old boy club teams to a majority black owner. And that's what about this story.
Because I thought also part of the issue was the fact that he had already had a failed bid to buy another team. So the NFL was wary about Brian Davis because of the bid to buy a team, an NBA team some years ago. So they were wary about, because the deal fell through. So they were worried about, the NFL was worried about making another deal.
I want to say it was the Memphis Grizzlies, D.
No, they weren't. Byron Allen tried to buy. He was part of the group that tried to buy the Denver Broncos, and he lost out by what, $500 million to the Walton Group that owns Walmart. So that wasn't the case. When they look at previous attempts, that should actually help your portfolio. So that's not the case at all. This whole bid was suppressed. Nobody knew about it until he had to really make it go public. Because that's why we were thinking, like, well, why hasn't Dan Snyder? Why hasn't Magic Johnson's team or group set off on a deal? Because now this has come up.
Dante don't want me to talk. So again, before I read the article that D said about Brian Davis, I read another article that said that the owners were kind of upset that he accepted this $6 billion bid because they thought the team should have been worth $7 billion. But here's the question. How did they think it was worth $7 billion when everybody in the media was saying it was worth $6 billion, because those are the offers that they had in the first place, which means they already knew about this bid. The owners knew about this bid. Dan Snyder didn't accept that bid.
So who is it? Yes.
Which takes us back to 2 weeks
ago. So who were they?
When I said Dan Snyder.
Who were they were upset?
Say it again.
That's my question, Rodney. Who was upset? You said they were upset that Dan Snyder didn't accept.
There was a group of owners that said they were upset because they knew that this team was worth $7 billion. But the question was, how did they come up with this $7 billion value? Because all of the information that was in the media was about these $6 billion deals. So they knew about it. They had to know about this offer that was $7 billion because your team is only worth anything of value is only worth what somebody's willing to pay. And they knew that there was somebody willing to pay this $7 billion.
That's what that.
So why did Snyder accept the $6 billion when there's this $7 billion deal out there? Even though he did have a failed attempt to buy an NBA team because they couldn't come up with the financing. But he doesn't have that problem right now. He got $50 billion. If he became an owner in the NFL, he is the richest owner right now today in the NFL. He's worth $50 billion. He is the richest owner in the NFL.
So back to the question up. I see what your question is now, what you're saying. The question is, why were the Commanders raised? That's what the other owners should be bad at. Because remember, all the teams are evaluated. You can look at all these they're valued at. That's example like the Detroit Lions and Cincinnati, they're valued at $3 million. So if the owners are mad, was $7 billion, that means, like you said, there's inside information. That comes from the appraisal. All the teams are evaluated, broken down by everything. So for them, it's like trying to basically, is that going to help them out? So it goes back to my point. How long have they known about this? And if it's, why not sign the deal?
All right, we're gonna continue the conversation.
So if it's worth $7 billion, the deal's there. Why not sign it?
We got breaking news coming across right now. Draymond Green has been suspended 1 game by the NBA.
Wow.
Which is an absolute travesty.
That ain't breaking.
Yeah.
That's an absolute travesty.
And definitely a travesty for Golden State.
Yeah. And it wasn't warranted, but that's okay. But because of his history,
Draymond puts him in these situations.
Yeah, he put himself in there.
Anyway,
he puts him in these situations.
Getting back to this. The evaluation that they had, the reason they came up with this $6 billion in the first place is that's what Forbes said they were worth. Forbes has this list of the values of NBA, NFL teams, and they had the Washington Commanders at $6 billion.
Yeah, I'll put it up for you.
So that's where the $6 billion came from. Davis, who just really, really wants to own the Commanders, he's the one that agreed to pay an extra $1 billion. Why not? I got $50 billion. What's wrong with me paying $7 billion to get this NFL team when I know I'm gonna make hundreds of millions of dollars each year by being an NFL owner? So it's a great investment for him. But yeah, so they did have they had to have insider information that this offer was out there. Even Bank of America even contacted them before Snyder accepted the $6 billion bid, contacted them again to make sure that they were still in it and if they still wanted to proceed. And he said yes. But still, Snyder accepted the $6 billion bid, which again, my conspiracy is that he was going to
indicate that they weren't going to sell to a black team,
other than what the NFL wanted, and that's what he did. Although he did accept the one with Magic, he did accept Magic's team or group, but that wasn't the best group for him, nor was it the best group for the NFL. Best group for the NFL because the NFL, just like if you as a homeowner. You don't want the person next door selling his house for $200,000 less than what the value is. Because what that does is bring the value of your property down. So they don't want Snyder to sell his property being the Commanders for lower than what he can actually get. By him getting $7 billion, now he's raised the price of all my teams.
Exactly, because they potentially are going to sell their teams.
So that's the issue with that.
Right? That's a great example.
We're gonna talk basketball.
Let's go back to some basketball.
If we gonna talk basketball, we gonna talk about the best team in the NBA until yesterday. But anyway, bing bong. Who ready for them New York Knicks, man? Who ready? I know that the brother up in the top right corner ain't ready. I know that brother ain't ready.
Rodney, I'm serious about this topic right here.
Rodney.
Kiss it.
This is near to my heart.
First of all, what is with Rodney with all these New York teams? The Jets and the Knicks, Rodney, come on.
I ain't no Jet fan.
He is a Cowboys fan.
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Cowboy fan.
I just thought that the Jets was a better fit for David Carr. Or what's his name? Derek Carr, not David.
But Ryan, could you put the camera on me? Just focus on me for a minute.
Yeah. I just want to hear this, dude. As a Celtic fan, dudes, I want to hear you preach, brother.
Serious, not you.
Not me.
Not you.
The pretty guy before me.
Not me. Oh, let me add you to this. Question. Hold on. I'm learning.
Oh my God. I could
have. There we go.
There you go. Let me get my grill together, my ice grill. Rodney, I don't know what you did. I don't know what kind of foolish brain dance you did, but you put a spell on my Celtics, and you took all our superpowers and gave them to the Knicks. So I'm giving you 24 hours to give our powers back.
And you ain't getting it back.
Looking at tonight's game, it looks like we got them back, but I want our powers back. And that's all I got to say about that.
So, Antoine Duval, Deuce Williams. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time for my wonderful Knicks to play basketball like this. And I don't care how we got these powers. I just don't want to give them up. So, to the most frustrating player ever in the history of basketball, and to the most frustrating coach in the history of basketball. Whatever y'all doing right now, Julius, whatever you're doing right now, keep doing it. Keep shooting it. Keep rebounding. Whatever you do, whatever you took, whatever you shot at your phone, whatever you drink it, I don't care. We won 9 straight games, and we in 5th. We 2 games back in Cleveland. Cleveland, we coming for you. Cleveland, we coming. We 2 games back in Cleveland. This might be one of the best basketball seasons I've had since Patrick Ewing was going against the Miami Heat way back in the day. So whatever we've done, I don't care. You ain't getting it back. And in the words of my brother, kiss it. Y'all gonna keep losing 2 times this week. Suck it. Now let's get back to it.
Hey, dudes.
We have to listen to any more about the Knicks. Really?
But you know what?
It's about to be over, D. The playoffs start. You know what they do in the playoffs every year.
Well,
hey, Rodney, to your credit, to your point though, dudes, we talked about this, man. As a Boston fan myself, the Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers are 2 teams I do not want to see in the first round of the playoffs. Dudes, what is up with the Knicks?
What's
and in
up
particular
with Julius Randle? He dribbles the ball, he loses it twice, dribbles off the front of his shoe, he dribbles off his
and
tongue of his shoe.
3.
Recovers the ball and hits a 3 to win the game.
Hey, dudes, to our credit though, they did that basically against our bench. But I'm not going to take that away from that Knicks game that we lost with Cleveland when they blew the 25-point lead. So we have no excuses for that.
We played like the Knicks.
Yeah, we are playing like they're playing backwards.
So not 3 games we did that. We gave up a big lead.
We gave up big lead. So
just
the
like
only bright side is that we know that our bench can score, and they better step up in the playoffs. The other thing I've noticed this past week, dudes, Jalen Brown has been missing a lot of free throws.
Jalen Brown, and we don't want to talk about Grant Williams, who said he's going to make both.
Jalen Brown has been missing a lot of free throws. Peep that out. But yeah, congratulations on your Knicks, Rod. If they happen to become a ninth seed. Too bad they can't play the Lakers. Too bad the Knicks can't play the Lakers for the rights to get in the playoffs.
First of all, don't listen to Rodney. He's sitting on here praising the Knicks about they need to keep doing what they're doing.
The sorry Knicks.
Now, this is the same person who, when you play NBA 2K, if one of his players misses a shot, he will immediately pause the game. He will stop the whole flow of the game, pause the game, and take him out the game. I'm like, don't miss. This is a video game. It happened. So don't listen to Rodney. Knicks, don't listen to Rodney talking about do what you do. Keep shooting it. Because if you do and you lose, next week he gonna be his whole attitude gonna change. Don't pay Rodney attention.
And when you said that, I can hear him right now watching the next game every player.
Hold on, ain't that how the song go? All I want to do is win. That's it. If you making me lose, you come and sit on the bench with me.
Right.
Hey, Rodney. So who's doing all the scoring? Who's doing all the scoring for the Knicks? Speaking of scoring in the Knicks, because to me,
let's get to that.
Why would the Knicks even be trying to win, Nick? Why would they even try to win, man? They traded everybody. I mean, they're looking good for 8th and 9th seed. But Rodney, I'm gonna go on and let you take this away with another aspect that we want to talk about since we're in the NBA and we're talking about your Knicks. I don't even know why they're trying to win, but Julius Randle scoring all these points out of nowhere. What's going on?
Randle's gonna be the MVP this year, y'all. Randle's gonna be the MVP.
Well, I was just thinking the other day when I was looking at all the support that Ja was garnering after he put out his statement or whatever, and hopefully his statement, he really meant his statement and it's coming from him and not some kind of representative, trying to give it that spin or whatever. And it seems like everybody's, he's garnering a whole lot of support and everybody's supporting him, and he's saying that he needs time out to take time off, to get his mind right, to find out why he's acting out, maybe it's due to stress and this and that or whatever. I don't understand how stress can make you do this stuff. I mean, it's just youthful stupidity in my opinion, but that's another story for another day. But it just seems like everybody's, really, he's garnering a lot of support for, a issue with a gun, when at the same time Kyrie was dropped from Nike for, I won't even say expressing his opinion, because Kyrie didn't even say anything. He posted a link, to was it a book or a movie?
A movie.
I think it's both, yeah. But he posted a link and he didn't even say anything, and he got dropped from Nike. But now Ja's, Nike seemed to be, giving support to Ja, into fixing what's wrong with him due to him brandishing a weapon. And I'm trying to figure out, I mean, what's going on? Is it, like you say, hypocrisy?
Well, first of all, who spelled hypocrisy?
Yeah, that was jacked up. And it wasn't me.
So, Hypocrisy.
Had he put up Deuce's backdrop, he would have misspelled that, fellas. He still forgot.
I came in second place in the citywide spelling bee in the 5th grade, so it wasn't me. Yes. It might be the little sleepy bright-skinned gentleman at the top of the screen.
Hypocrisy up there, but that hypocrisy is not a type of government. Like democracy. Okay, so anyway. So if I could piggyback off what Dudes was saying.
Go ahead.
A couple of things. One is that this whole thing about which is actually what I was about to talk about, so that's why I thought I could piggyback. So anyway, you didn't look that, and I'm talking to Jai, you didn't look that stressed when you was in the club smiling, holding the gun.
No.
But with your shirt off, kicking it. That didn't look too stressful. Now,
it looked pretty relaxed to me.
Yeah, if you sitting at home alone in the room by yourself crying with a gun, now you look stressed.
Yeah, like Marbury eating a Vaseline.
Right. Now you look stressed. and I get that. But I think also what we also have to understand too about this whole idea of Nike and their hypocrisy is that when you start dealing with offending people, we have a real big thing in this country about offending people, whether particularly for ethnicity or religious reasons or so on and so forth. Right. And we also have to understand that there are a number of groups in this country that have a very powerful lobby when it comes to those kinds of things about what offends them and so on and so forth. But with this case, remember that one of the more powerful lobbies in this country is the gun lobby.
NRA.
And so it would be very difficult, again, when you start dealing with the gun laws and talking about guns and taking away guns. You've got a very powerful gun lobby in the NRA. And so I think Nike, in many ways, but this debate over guns, it's a whole lot easier to deal with the whole gun thing, right, than it is with the whole religion and ethnicity thing that Kyrie was dealing with. It's a whole lot more cut and dry. So I think that you start getting into ideas of politics. So maybe it's politicocracy more than anything else. Yeah, spell that one. Whoever put hypocrisy up there.
Actually,
let's not dwell on the jive, the guns, or the hypocrisy. That was hilarious, though.
To me, shut up, man. To me, what it all goes back to is what dudes is wearing. It all goes back to the green. Nike is not going to get rid of Ja right now. One, because of the market that Ja is supposed to attract. That's this young urban youth that listen to the hip hop music and
Yeah, and I was gonna say something about that too, right? Just like Adidas and the Kanye situation.
Yeah,
see, Adidas is double back now because all the people that was trying to get Adidas to cancel Kanye, they weren't the people buying the shoes.
Exactly. So Nike, they're not really concerned about Ja and his little situation. Now, where they will be concerned about it is if the NBA suspends Ja for, let's say, a year, right? So now you got this man that you're paying for to promote your product that can't even go on the court. Then they'll have an issue with it. Then they'll start saying, well, hey, listen, we might need to renegotiate this contract. But until then, right now, to them, it doesn't, the fact that he got film with a gun. Matter of fact, it might even make them sell more shoes, to that urban crowd, because now Ja has his quote unquote street cred because he got film with a gun. So in the case of Kyrie, the group of people that Kyrie offended, right? Those are that's a powerful group of people that have money. And Nike does not want to offend those people. So yeah, it's easy to let Kyrie go, right? Because I'm looking at, all right, Kyrie making me 100 million, but these folks giving me 100 billion. So it's easy for me to let Kyrie go because I'm not going to offend those people. But for the young urban folks, man, what he did, that's giving him even more credit.
So is that fair though?
Not at all. Not at all.
What you think, Dan?
I think we should move on from Ja because every week we get caught up because everybody got a gun and we get off track. We
we'll get somebody else next week.
Well, we gonna get, but I'm still, it's crazy. We blew over Sean Kemp in the drive-by, but this is about the younger generation. Yeah, Sean have made his money. This is about the youth coming up. But I mean, we gonna
more worried about being suspended.
Can you hear you? Can you say it again?
What was that, G?
No, I was saying that Sean Kemp ain't in the NBA no more.
I know he made his money.
Right, he's a private citizen. Right.
Well, he could probably kiss his weed business goodbye though.
Yeah, he's a felon now. Anyway,
it's a situation with Ja Morant and the Pea Shooter that
not the Pea Shooter
and the Pea Shooter that he was filmed with at the strip club after a loss. That's part that been missed also. He was doing all this junk after a loss to the Denver Nuggets. So on our first episode, we talked about gun situation. Our second episode, we talked about more transgressions by athletes, and now we're back to the same thing on our third episode. We don't want to make this no habit, y'all, but if it happened, we're going to talk about it.
We're not making it a habit. It's these idiot athletes making it a habit, right? They're giving us something to get a podcast going with. I'm loving it.
You right about that one.
Gotta love it, man.
So Dudes, as our resident NBA expert, what's your feeling on this Ja Morant situation?
Well, it's just a sad situation all the way around. I don't understand how this keeps happening. And it's like everybody's kind of feeling bad for the kid or whatever, but he keeps doing it to himself. And it's not like he don't know that, that it's wrong. I mean, this is dead wrong. Everybody knows that. I don't know who he's surrounding himself with, or I've seen some of the guys and they look a little, shaky, but
shady. He
definitely needs some kind of guidance. Like, we always talk about how the NBA teams, how they moved away from having the veterans in the locker room. And, I think Memphis I think they're the youngest team in the NBA, as a matter of fact.
One of them.
And you just need that veteran presence because, when you're on the road, that's business. You know what I'm saying? I understand everybody likes to unwind, go to the club, drink a few or whatever, dance, party or whatever. But, to go in a club and get on IG Live with a pistol in your hand.
With a pea shooter, not a pistol.
I just don't understand. So if he loses his whole career, at least he still has a street cred because that seemed like the most important thing with him anyway. So,
Brother D,
what is thinking? I got some what I know what thinking. So, dudes, like you said, he took a gun in a strip club. So my question was, when I saw that video, man, I hope that wasn't an actual strip club, and hopefully it was somebody's house or something, their own private thing, because not only did he just cause his self-harm, as we said, with his career and everything, the suspension and all that, but he basically just put this strip club in trouble. They're subject to lose their liquor license. But even on top of that, who are you surrounding yourself with? Me and Dorian were talking about this the other day. He was talking about security, but yeah, security works for that strip club. Mm-hmm. How are you allowing this to go on? Let somebody bring a gun into an establishment like this, let aside that he started pubbing it on IG. So again, two dumb mistakes on both sides of the party, but it shows that mentality again of these young athletes.
And then, as we were always taught, if it's somewhere you got to go where you're going to need a gun, then you probably should be going there. It's common sense.
But you know what else? Dudes, it brought up. Remember the whole thing with Shannon Sharp at the game, him trying to get all tough and hard. He had his daddy there with him and all this. Where's his daddy been during this whole situation? His dad's always at all the games and everything, but you haven't seen his dad come up to give any kind of statement to represent his son. No, because his son is hanging out with idiots.
Well, okay. So at what point do we put this responsibility on Ja and not on his father? Now,
I didn't put it on his father. I'm putting it all on Ja.
No, I'm saying what you were talking about. Well, where is his father? I mean, I get that, but he's an adult. So he needs to take responsibility for that. I'm not going to try to put it on his dad at a certain point. Yeah, we would hope his dad is giving him guidance, but we really don't know, and we don't know if he's just not listening, whatever it is that's happening.
And just for clarity, I'm not putting this on Ja's dad. I was bringing up the example that his dad's always with him and around him, and the example with the Shannon Sharp situation that him and his dad was mouthing off at. Again, this is all on Ja. He's a grown man. His dad wasn't there in the club with him. That's all I'm saying. I'm just talking about guidance. He's around the wrong people.
Will say, interestingly enough, is because of somebody that I know on Facebook from Memphis. I heard them, or I shouldn't say heard, but I saw something that they wrote, and they live down there, that was talking about, they made the comment, well, we know how his dad moves. Now, this is an older person too, older in terms of like our age. God, I can't believe I'm saying we older. Yeah, so I'm wondering, what's going on in terms of what's happening actually down there in Memphis where this particular person would make the comment, well, we know how his dad moves. But this becomes my issue with this whole thing. All right. One, I don't understand why it is that all these people want to bring that street mentality in the places that's not meant for the street. And I made this comment the last time we were talking about Brandon Miller, about how you get all these guys that come into college, again, as a college professor, I see it, that they come into college and they want to bring this street stuff into college. And you have to tell them, man, this is not the place for that. I know gangsters and they wasn't trying to go to college, right? So my thing is that, okay, well, one is, if you're trying to say that, because I also seen some things about some tweets that he wrote where somebody asked him something about why you doing all this and you rich, and he talking about, Josh says, I've been about this life, gonna stay about this life, and so on and so forth. Well, at what point don't you want to get away from that life?
Yeah.
Because isn't that why you play back? If you were living that kind of life, I'm not gonna get into high school and he went to a private school. I'm not gonna get into all that kind of stuff. But I'm saying, if you were living that life, isn't the fact that you played basketball, wasn't that your way out of that life? And why do you want to bring that with you? Why do you want to bring that here? I just don't understand why it is that cats want to stay in that kind of mentality. They never want to leave that mentality. It reminds me of a line from Havoc, when he says, no matter how much loot I get, I'm staying in the projects forever. Why? What isn't that what you want to get away from? Isn't this the opportunity to get away from that stuff? And again, if you were into that life, I'm not going to get into whether he was into it or not. I don't know how he grew up, so I'm not going to get into that. But don't you want to get away from that? Why would you want to bring that kind of stuff in there with you? I don't even want to get into, it was a little gun, it was a Pea Shooter, yeah, that's fine. But the thing about it is that why do you want to still do that? And then secondly, how'd you get it on the plane?
That was the next point.
That part.
That was the next point.
So if you're in the club with that, who do you know that allowed you to get in the club? But did you bring that with you on the plane, or did you get it once you got there to Denver? These, of course, are some unanswered questions. And if you got it with you on the plane, that's a real big problem.
So that was the next big thing, D. So the reports today. Well, first off, he's been suspended for another 2 games, so now it's a total of 4 games as of right now. And the reason for that is because the NBA is still doing their investigation. This is not the first incident with Ja, not the second either, unfortunately. He's had multiple incidents, with firearms, with guns. And the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that the NBA is looking at is like what you just said. How did he even get it there in the first place? Because if you put it on that plane, that's a huge problem. Gilbert Arenas got suspended for 50 games for bringing a gun on a plane. And so it's been reports that that's actually what the NBA is considering doing with Ja, which will completely. I mean, this brother has contracts with PepsiCo, with Gatorade or whatever.
Powerade.
Is it Powerade, Gatorade? One of them.
It's Powerade.
Powerade. All right, that's cool.
He has endorsements everywhere, Rodney. But not to come up. That's the perfect segue. Like we said, besides the guns, it's about the money he's going to lose.
The money,
and it's perfect segue for Dudes. If the money he's going to lose, but Dudes has another whole perspective on this too. When we talk about Ja and all the stuff that he's going through with the guns and all this, but Dudes has another perspective on this as well, as far as how not just the media, but the public in general and corporations view these incidents.
Johnny, please tell them what they've won.
Well, you've won a new conversation on our favorite person, Ja Morant, and a little bit more on Sean Kemp, because Ja was having a little fun. We found out Ja was out.
That's what Ja was doing, but he was doing a little bit of that, but a little bit more of this.
I just ran out of money. I need to borrow 50,000 cash. Make it rain. Come through, baby. Make it rain. E-class on the way too. We got 100 grand. Make it rain. Triple C's. Make it rain. Oh yeah, this the remix.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Ja was out there making it rain. So I mean, we're making jokes about it right now, but the issue. Well, first we're gonna get to Ja, then we'll talk about Kemp. But the issue with Ja is, yeah, it's funny, you know, that we can say it's funny right now because the video came out. Well, not the video. The images came out of him at the strip club. You know, partaking in the you know the products that you can get at the strip club, with money all over the floor. You know, that was after the little video or whatever. And then right after that, you know, after all this came out, Ja decided that the best thing for him to do was to go seek counseling at a counseling center down in Florida. He did that on Monday. And 2 days later, he's out of rehab. I guess he's, you know, all his demons have been exercised. What you think that dude?
Was it rehab? Was it rehab or a counseling center?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a counseling center.
Counseling center.
So what you think about that, D-Dub?
Well,
right.
One thing I'm trying to figure out exactly, and I'd like to know is what was accomplished during the 2 days of counseling. Because to me, it seemed like the issue still was the fact that he was being very immature. So, I mean, has he matured in 2 days? Did they tell him some magic words and now he's matured? Or, you know, has he learned his lesson, you know, due to the fallout from his misadventure at the strip club? Then the other thing I was wondering about was with the pictures that came out, is it some kind of privacy violation? Because, I mean, with the pictures, I mean, he didn't really do anything abnormal at the strip club other than the gun part, but that was pictured. He didn't do anything abnormal, you know. I know we're all, you know, God-fearing, church-going guys, and we don't know anything about what happens in the strip club.
Never.
Because we've never been there before.
Never.
But he didn't do anything that, you know, anything abnormal. What we saw is what happens in the strip club. So we hear. And then the other thing, I mean, is he possibly going to be able to sue for privacy violation?
That's not normal.
You said what? We lost him.
I said everything. That's not typically normal. And that's what brought the police.
All the money might not be for us, but all the other stuff, yeah. I mean, not for us, but for other people that we know. So that's all I had. I just like to know what was accomplished in the 2 days of counseling.
So you said a couple of different things. The first thing is I'm gonna hit the second thing first. The fact that, you know, the strip club
did you already
release the video?
Did you already start this? Shouldn't the rest of us get a chance to chime in before you get a chance
to want to chime in? See, you want to stop me? Okay, cool. Say what you got to say, D. Say what you got to say, D. You always stop me. Say what you got to say, D.
Wait a minute. In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
Right. I'm just saying, you started talking, then you passed it to dudes, and then you took it back. So go ahead, Dante.
See?
Go ahead. All I was gonna say is I had one thing on that. Why did he have to spend, or first of all, why did he have to go to Florida if it was just for counseling? What's wrong with Tennessee. He couldn't find nowhere to get counseling in Tennessee for at least. So to me, he just went to Florida to go relieve some more stress, if you know what vacation. I mean. So I don't think, like Jules was saying, what was the trip worth?
Can I speak, D?
Dorian?
It's a right board, man.
Go ahead. You know, I might forget. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dorian.
First of all, I want to begin by saying I don't want to pile on the brother. Okay. I'm sure everybody is coming at him, and I don't want to pile on. I feel like the media is kind of reveling in this. One of the reports I saw from somebody that first talked about him losing his endorsement deal. He started off with saying, this is just the story that keeps on giving, as if this was a gift. And I don't want to feel like I'm reveling in Ja's, in this tumult that he's having in his career right now. So first of all, let me say that. But my thing about this too is for the sponsors that are dropping him. Okay. If they were going to drop him, I'm hoping that it's about the gun. Okay. Because this other stuff that's coming out after this, as dudes said prior to this, and I'm sure Rodney's going to get on this because we had a conversation about this, but he wasn't doing anything illegal. Right? Even the videos that they show of him drinking, he's of legal age. He can drink. If he wants to do that, that's what he can do. Now, that's what he's allowed to do. That's what it's legal for him to do. It would even be a different story about the gun had he been at home on his own home video, right? But so my thing is with the sponsors that are dropping him, I just want to make sure now that this other stuff is coming out, don't act like it's that particular image now that is causing you to drop him, right? Because if you're of these billion-dollar companies, you mean you didn't know that this young man like
they shooting, major,
right? You didn't know that he liked to visit strip clubs. You didn't know that he went to clubs and he drank alcohol. If this is somebody that's supposed to be the face of your product, it seemed like you would vet that person and vet everything about them to know that this would be the person that you want. So please let it just be about this whole gun deal and the illegalities that come from the gun and so on and so forth, him being in Colorado and that kind of thing. Please don't let it be about these other images from which he was not doing anything wrong. That's my thing about it. Yes,
do you remember your point, Rod?
Your turn, Rodney.
All right. So I agree with you on that one, D. Let's hope that all these people that are jumping ship from Ja, that Ja's already made millions of dollars for already, from his shoe sales and just his appearances or whatever. So Ja has he lived up until that point. He lived up to what it was that he was contracted to do. Now, did he do something that was probably not the smartest thing? Yeah. But like you said, the visit to the strip club and all that stuff, that is actually a moot point. That doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with the thing. As far as why he's losing his endorsements. The gun issue, the gun is a little different. And unfortunately, like I said, we've been talking about guns, man. This is our 4th episode. We've been talking about guns for the last 4 episodes. Every week we talk about guns. So that, and the reason we're talking about it is because mainly people don't know how to use them, right? And Ja, you got to be one of them. You don't go to, everybody knows you don't go to a place that serves alcohol with a gun. No, I don't want to say no states, but in most states, that's not legal, period. You don't take a gun to a place that sells alcohol. So the thing about it, it's a learning experience. Now, I was joking earlier about the 2 days. It's difficult to to question someone that is looking for help. If it, he may have gone down there, he may have talked to people, and may have told him what he did wrong and how he's perceived, and he may have changed his ways. I don't know. I wasn't there during the time. It just seems to me that whole thing just seems like a bit of convenience than anything else, because his main objective was to get back to playing basketball.
It's kind of like a check the box.
Exactly. So if he, in order for him to get back to playing basketball, to me, like I said, that was just a thing of convenience, like dude said, a way of checking a box that I can get back into playing. It was reported earlier that the NBA suspended him for 8 games. Now, the way I read it, I thought he had 8 games from today, 8 more games, meaning that he would be done pretty much for most of the rest of the regular season. I was wrong. The 8 games actually started when he first got suspended. So now technically he only has another 2 games that he has to sit out. Now, again, this is just me speaking. My thought behind that is that Adam Silver really didn't have a whole lot that he can go off of, because technically he can't prove that Ja did anything wrong on that team plane. He don't know if that gun was on that plane or not. They don't have evidence that gun was on that plane. They don't have evidence that was even Ja's gun. All they have is evidence that he was holding one. So he was kind of hamstrung in what he could do. I still felt that if you wanted to give a point to make a point, you would have given him a little bit longer suspension than just those 8 games that he got. That was my only issue. But with that, we're gonna move on to our next topic. Still in basketball.
Last thing.
Rebuttal. Go ahead, Dory.
No, not a rebuttal. It's not a rebuttal at all. I don't have any. I'm not disputing you at all. But what I would like is for it, in talking about this counseling, I want people to give him another chance. We get a lot of there not being any atonement for these young men. It was something Gilbert Arenas was saying. I heard him talking about this, giving some advice, talking about, well, now, he's going to go from being a tier 1 player. They're going to knock him down to be a tier 3 player, for however many years he said, Gilbert Arenas was talking about it. But my thing is that he's still in his 20s, his early 20s. I just want society to give this brother a chance to quote atone.
Give him some grace,
and to be able to show that he's learned from it. That's what I want, instead of everybody just automatically now just writing him off. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah, like I said, you can make jokes about it, because in this particular case, nobody got hurt.
Yeah, we gonna make jokes about it.
Oh, we're gonna make jokes. In this particular case, nobody got hurt. But what you just said, D. We can actually attribute to a lot of these young athletes. The thing that a lot of people forget is what you said a minute ago. These are 20-year-old kids, man. 20, 21, 22-year-old kids, right? And us being the old heads, man, we was, I'm not trying to.
It's a good thing we didn't have cell phones.
We didn't, we had cell phones
and millions of dollars.
Hey.
It's horrible, but yeah, if someone falls, they have the right to be able to stand up and do better. Go ahead, Dan. You have something, Dan?
So in regards back to the endorsements he may have lost, some of them endorsement deals he probably signed were done in strip clubs. I don't know if you got Dory.
And on that note, we gonna go to our next topic. She could have been my partner also in doubles.
Oh, God. All right. So moving out of tennis.
We would wish that on her. I was about to say something, but I want to be, kind to
moving out of tennis.
Hey, man, y'all gonna respect my tennis career, man.
No.
Put some respect on my career.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I'm gonna have to get hey, this is a call out for Tony Miller. Tony, I need you to come on this podcast so you can back me up about the greatest tennis game in the history of tennis.
He might have been wishing it was just over. He's wishing it was over faster.
You know what? Hey, I'm gonna let y'all know that I'm gonna do a special podcast just so I can tell y'all exactly what happened with graphics and everything, and might even recreate it.
Okay, so
like a cartoon.
What surface were you playing at?
Oh, you want to hear about it? Let me tell you what happened.
I just want to know.
Y'all saw him catch a Charlie horse just doing a podcast. What you think of when he go out here and try to play some tennis?
I ain't saying I'm playing right now.
So I'm gonna recreate a tennis match.
Hey, all I do right now, I get out the cart, I hit the ball, I get back in the cart. That's about it.
Hey, D, this is a physically grueling podcast.
Exactly, man. Y'all have a brother running.
Pulling hamstrings.
Y'all have a brother running there. Y'all have a brother
running.
running.
Around in his chair too fast.
All right, so we're gonna move away from tennis and we're gonna get to our next topic of discussion, and that is this. You said today, D? Was it today?
Yeah, the tournament. Yeah, real quick, the Women's World Cup started today. For those who don't know, the U.S. women are favored to win it all, favored to win their third World Cup in a row, which would be a first for men or women's World Cup. But they play Vietnam in their group. They play tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or this evening. I can't remember. But the two host countries have already won their first matches. Australia won. New Zealand won their first matches. But like I said, the U.S. hasn't played yet. But they play Vietnam. So I'll be watching. I'll certainly be watching.
Oh, the women's tennis team our women's tennis team is just great. They're great, and usually
I thought we was talking about soccer.
Shut up! Just shut it up. Matter of fact, hold up. You lucky?
Did you play against any women when you played, right?
You lucky I can't find it.
Hey, how about a little less questions and a little more shut the hell up?
Doran. Now let me. I told you there's a thing called editing that will occur on this thing right now. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about before Dorian so rudely interrupted me. Now, one of the most frustrating things to me right now about NBA basketball is it's not a good product to watch right now. It's not a fun product to watch. If you watch a college basketball game, you see teams playing defense, you see them hustling back, this, that, and the other, trying to prevent the other team from scoring. That's what's called defense. You don't see that in the NBA right now. Right now, what you see is scores that are 140 to 137. It's like
wait. What about that 175 to 170 or whatever game that was?
That was not a good game. Don't to see the score? You get happy by seeing that score, but to actually be a part of that game, in that game there was not one defensive play made. There couldn't be. If you scored 178 points in a game and it wasn't an All-Star game, come on, man.
I was asking, was that an All-Star game or a regular season game?
That in a regular season game, it's not a good product to watch right now. Those are games, you can watch the highlights on TV, but you don't want to sit there and watch that game, man, because nobody's playing defense. It's frustrating. As Dorian was talking about, if my 2K team would give up 178 points, that's because I just sat down every starter because they wasn't playing basketball like they were supposed to. You cannot allow 178 points in a game. That's not a basketball game, man.
Kind of like we talk about all the time. We came up in an era where, you took it personal if somebody scored on you. Somebody was lighting you up. I mean, you really took it personal, and that's where all those flagrant fouls and hard fouls came in. It was kind of check and balance type of deal. But
guys, this is the nature of the beast. We grew up in an era where defense was king, but now the NBA sells offense.
Well, see, the thing that I don't understand about it was,
it's offense. You want to see the 3-pointers from half court.
Yeah, they wanted to increase the scoring, so they changed the rules. No hand checking, no arm bars, and where you pretty much can't touch the offensive player. And these guys are so great now. If you can't touch them, you can't guard them.
Did they change the rules though, really, dudes? Isn't that the Jordan rule?
No.
Well, no. We'll go into Jordan rules a little later. But it's to me, and the way I see it, they look at us like you said, the old man, get off my lawn. They look at us like that. But we're not asking for them to bring back the flagrant fouls and, all that. But what, we would like the, the arm bar, a little hand checking, not really, where you're guiding people. But it's just that competitive aspect I think that's missing. It's so tough to sit there and watch, a game where everybody's just letting the other team score. And it's like, it doesn't even bother them. They're not even fazed by someone scoring 50 on them.
Well, how about the refs not making calls? What was that, Rodney?
But that's part of it. The refs not making the calls. But see, for me, I think it goes back to something we talked about with other sports, particularly like the Super Bowl and so on and so forth, is that oftentimes the television, that medium, is not meant for the hardcore fan. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's meant for the casual fan. It's designed to get the casual fans' attention. So if they see 178 points, well, then as far as they know, that was a great game because they did a lot of scoring. They wasn't missing a lot of shots, that kind of thing. But for those of us who actually really watch the game, we understand how important defense actually is to the game. It makes the game better if you got these guys who can score, but somebody is trying to put up some resistance to stop them. If I'm just playing matador defense, ole all the time, well then, what kind of game is that really? And is it really a good game to watch?
And to piggyback off of what you're saying,
maybe that's why nobody likes Patrick Beverly anymore, because he plays
just like
defense.
The 80s, that was the golden era. The 80s and 90s, that was the golden era of basketball, but yet they played defense.
Right.
So it seemed like you would want to emulate, that era, that time, rather than, just let everybody score as many points as they can score. And, it's just not
like I said, if they played defense,
it's hard to watch.
If they played defense, it would slow the game down. We see guys at the free throw line that are exposing themselves, not being able to shoot free throws for one. So yeah, let the game keep going. But nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to see somebody going to the free throw line every minute and a half and 2 minutes, like we see in the last minute of a basketball game.
And
the last minute of a basketball game takes 30 minutes.
I got a good question to pose.
You're absolutely right.
D, Rod, Don, name me the 5 best defenders in the NBA. You can't.
Well, I named one. Like I said, everybody, I see it, Patrick Beverly.
You probably name my team.
I didn't bring up Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly is not a good defensive player.
He has the reputation.
That's what everybody thinks.
Patrick Beverly has a reputation.
Why is he not a good defensive player?
He has a reputation as a good defensive player because he gets under people's skin.
He's spicy.
And he's old school. That's what dudes is talking about. He gets in your skin, but you can't hand check anybody. So, like you said, there really isn't anybody that does what a Patrick Beverly, who nobody likes, what he does. He's old school. Nobody plays defense. So you just posed a great question. Who's the top 5 defenders in the league? Oh, everybody's going to say, okay, the big centers like Giannis and all these other guys, but who's really playing D? Nobody.
Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year last year. And what Marcus Smart does is taking a whole lot of charges. Mm-hmm. That's really all that he does.
Name 5.
I would agree with that. Marcus Smart.
You can't.
I ain't gonna lie. I can't even give you 5.
You got 5. Okay, so that's 2. That's 2.
I can't get 5.
I forgot about Smart from my own team.
It wouldn't include Pat Beverly either. I think Pat Beverly played a lot better defense some years ago. Now he's living off their reputation.
Okay. So I threw Patrick Beverly just as a name because he's still in the league playing. So Patrick Beverly and Smart. Give me 3
Gary Payton's son, he's pretty good.
Okay.
Gary Payton the second, Gary Payton Jr.
Yeah.
But we reaching though. We reaching.
Okay, that's 3. That's the whole point, gentlemen.
He was at Phoenix.
That's the point.
Jay Carter.
Huh?
Oh,
Bridges.
He's with the Nets now.
Oh, Miguel Bridges.
Yeah.
Not with Phoenix anymore.
Okay, so that's
I couldn't think of his name. I knew he was with Phoenix. I just couldn't think of his name.
But you see our point, though, guys. We have to look up at the sky thinking we couldn't name top 5 top defenders. I threw Patrick Beverly out because the first one came to mind because nobody plays defense.
If I pose the question, name the top 5 from the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s.
You get them.
We'd be here all day.
You could probably name about 20.
You get them.
Yeah, for every era. Right. Nobody stands out in this era right now of basketball playing D because there is none. Everybody's shooting threes.
Since we talking about wide receivers, let's talk about one of the greatest.
Let's talk about him. Let's talk about him.
One of the worst teams.
One of the greatest, number 88 for your world famous Dallas Cowboys.
Preston Pearson came out of
that was Drew Pearson.
Drew.
See, look at you.
Was it going to show you what I think about Cowboys?
Anyway, but yeah, we joking about that. But you know, Mike did find himself in a little situation at Super Bowl, where he was at a hotel, Marriott Hotel in what's your city name? Dante?
Phoenix, baby.
Up there visiting Dante. I'm surprised Dante went on the video.
He was.
He was in the crowd, opening the bar.
I was sitting at the bar.
He was at the bar.
I was the guy in the white hat. I was the guy in the white hat sitting at the bar.
So yeah. So anyway, Mike, during the Super Bowl, there was an allegation that he said some inappropriate comments to a waitress at the Marriott Hotel, and from that, NFL Network and ESPN both kept him off the air, talking about the Super Bowl. They didn't fire him; he hasn't been fired. However, he's not doing his regular TV shows, TV gigs, whatever. Which I don't know whether or not he's getting paid or not. I would assume he's not because he's not working. They may have him on suspension until this thing is resolved. And from that, Mike, is that what it is? So Mike has said, vehemently that he did nothing wrong, that, this is a ruse, blah, blah, blah. But this past week, the video came out, or last week, the video came out showing the interaction with the young lady. So let me ask this of you guys. What did you think? I'm going to start with Dante this time. So Dante, tell me the real. Tell me don't hold back on what you want to say. Tell me the real of what you thought about this video.
What did you see?
What you see, D? What you see, D?
What did I rewind? Go back on the tape. I'm sure y'all have all seen all the YouTube videos, everybody else's accounts, and watching the tape. But yeah, she knew what she was doing. First of all, she came her way. She knew Mike was coming. I'm like, she in the security room watching the tape. Didn't even see him come in the building. First of all, foremost, but anybody like to take it clearly reveals the gentleman that came up that looked like the manager. I actually looked up. I started doing some research on that. I won't throw out any names because this is all alleged. This is all under litigation. So I looked up the manager in question that came out. Pissed, walking, looking like, what this bitch doing over here? But that's how it went down, right? But you clearly saw the young lady, like, she came looking for Mike, like she was enjoying the conversation she was having with Mike. I saw nothing wrong other than the true agitator, which was the hater. And by the way, I got haters everywhere too. But yeah, he was hating. He didn't like that. We know how that went down. He was probably trying to holler at little hottie or something, and then saw that we got a big superstar. It happened to be Michael Irvin or whatever. So he go from story, or he gonna tell you, I'm gonna put you on blast or something. You gonna say this or whatever. You out of here. And that's where you get the false allegations, right? That's just my opinion how this went down. Mm-hmm. Why else would this come out? You know what? I'm so mad at you. You gonna make me some money out of this. You gonna go on? We gonna go on TV? I'm gonna say he did this. You said that, and you gonna say it. I mean, come on, man.
That's talking like a pimp. He talking like a pimp,
man.
All right.
In the words of D.K. Kirkland, who raised these bitches?
Like you gotta say the whole thing.
All right, D, what you think about it?
Okay.
So the video evidence don't lie.
I don't wanna try to speculate about the video in the sense that you couldn't hear, there's no audio.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't look to me, but at the same time, it didn't look to me as if there was any certain gestures that looked like this was an unwarranted conversation. So
you don't need audio to know what's going the fuck on.
But it did look to me as if anything that was going on was unwarranted. Mm-hmm. But again, you can't hear to really know. It didn't look to me. Now, a couple of times, they kind of got close or whatever, but it didn't necessarily look like she gave off a signal to Michael that, he was invading her personal space or anything. Now, when he did step in, she stepped back. You saw her a couple of times kind of step back and, kind of keep her distance or whatever. But it wasn't like at the same time, like he said anything and she stepped back and then walked away. Mm-hmm. She kind of stepped back, kept her distance, but she still stayed there engaging and, in conversation or whatever. But again, like I said, I still don't want to speculate because I couldn't hear what was going on. It didn't look like there was anything nefarious going on, but I don't really know. But I also feel like this though, is that Michael Irvin has been in enough trouble during his playing days and so on and so forth, that if I don't think he would be suing for defamation if he felt like he had done something wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you've been in enough trouble to know that, if something goes to court or if you did something, that kind of thing. But the fact that he decided that he would file a suit says to me that he's very adamant about the fact that he didn't do anything. So I'm gonna put it like that and just feel like, he's like, hey, I've been in enough trouble. I know how this works. Mm-hmm. And, and this is wrong. And I'm not going to stand here and take this. And the fact that he's countersuing says a lot to me.
What about you, D-Dub?
Well, I made sure when I saw the tape, I made sure, that I didn't get any commentary. I just watched the regular raw footage, so I could have my unbiased opinion. And from what I saw a lot of things. It seemed like, like you said, it seemed like he stepped in to talk to her, to get closer, and she stepped away. But then later she stepped in. So I never saw, anything that would make me think that he was doing anything inappropriate. It looks like she was, like I said, she was stepping in and then she stepped away. But she stepped back in, and you see the little strange guy walking around in the background. He looked very suspicious, but, I don't know if, at some point, she found out that, hey, he was a famous football player because, she looked kind of young. So maybe she didn't know exactly who Michael Irvin was. And I believe it's a cash grab. That's what I really believe it is. Mm-hmm. I believe, they had the interaction. It looked like she didn't know whether she was interested or not. Like I said, she, stepped away, pulled away, stepped in, pulled away, stepped in. And then, like I said, I think later on she might have found out that he was a celebrity, a famous football player from the past, and decided, let's go for that cash grab. So, that's what I think.
Real quick, dudes. Did you forget how the video started off, dudes? She went looking for him. She came around the corner. She got to the bar before he did. She works at the hotel. She knows somebody might have staying there.
Yeah, somebody might have told her that, you know, who he was or whatever.
Yeah, her manager, the dude that was mad. Yeah, we got Michael Irvin staying here tonight. Michael Irvin, who is that? Yeah, he's this old guy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, famous. Like you said, cash grab. It's a young girl, like, oh, really? So she, like, when is he supposed to get here? She was the first one to meet him.
Yeah,
she went out of her way.
And so, like I said,
don't forget her foot. Don't forget her foot action when he walked up to her and he said something else. She got oh my God, you're so crazy type action with her.
Now he a body language counselor.
Yeah.
Narrative, whatever narrative you wanna give evidence for, you can with this video, because one, like D said, there's no sound, so we gonna make it say whatever. Now, one of the things, like I said, what dude was talking about, Mike did step forward to her. He even put his hand on her elbow at for like a 1/30th of a second, right? He touched her elbow, right? Now, what Mike said, we don't know, but
Dante knows.
Yeah, he had the video. Dante got that other video, but I didn't have a video, so I don't know what Mike did.
Point. Dude. So from what you saw without sound, how do you know that little guy was weird? What was he doing to get you? What did he do to give you the impression he was weird? He didn't have no sound. He wasn't saying nothing. See?
He had a weird mad walk.
I'm watching the body. They call that. That's a word for that. You know,
man.
Body, emotion, communication, physical communication.
He had a hater walk.
So bring back the mic for a second.
Why did you say anything? What that mean?
Shut up, man. Get back to the mic for a second.
You see what I mean? You didn't need sound for that. You know what this means?
This boy.
You don't need sound to know what's going on.
Help him, Lord.
Look at here. Get back to the mic for a second. Now, the one thing I can say is, you know, in this lawsuit, there's 3 witnesses that said Michael Irvin didn't do nothing. 3 witnesses, right? I haven't heard one person that has corroborated the other girls, her version of what happened. There's been one person to come out and say, "Well, yeah, what she said is true."
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing again, going back to the thing, could Mike have done it? Yeah, because he already admitted he was drunk, right? He said he was a little tipsy. Could he have said some stuff like she said he said? You ever had a big black man inside of you? Could he have said that?
He probably did.
He could have possibly said that, you know. But again, if you look at the video, if you use the video as evidence, as Dante did,
that's when she stepped back, Rodney, when he said
but she came back forward.
Oh, wait a minute.
But she came back forward.
Yeah, why did she come back forward?
Why did she come back forward?
Like we did again, right?
So, but yeah, now let's get to the serious thing about this for a second though. As it's difficult. I mean, we make it light of the situation. We know we're just having fun with the situation, but it's real hard for a man to defend himself when these allegations come about, whether they be true or not. It's very hard for a man to defend himself. And the fact that Mike has decided to file $100 million defamation suit against the Marriott hotel chain, again, like D said, shows to me that he's real serious that he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he's adamant that he didn't do anything.
Adamant that he didn't do nothing. So
his career.
Now again, we don't. Other than Dante, none of us know what was said, what was done, blah blah blah. But
Dante might have been that little man.
But because of the actions of Michael Irvin,
no video tape that they dudes.
You just sprayed the camera with spray paint.
Sprayed the camera? What camera? What you talking about? What you talking about?
But anyway,
I don't know who's staying. Anyway. First of all, nobody should know who's staying where. It was a money grab. Going back to that, what dude said, well, he made a good point. Of where she worked, the hotel, it was an inside job. The 2 people that was most aggravated the most were the manager and her, where this all came from in the first place. This is what the streets are saying out here, guys. And from what I gather and what I'm seeing too, what's going on. It's at a hotel. First of all, big profile people, an easy way to make money. Here's a way for this chick or whatever to make money. He might have been her pimp. He's the manager, but yeah, he could be running a whole big thing. She might be the madam. So we're all speculating on interpreting what we see from a video because there's no audio. It's he say, she say. But the video, going back to the side of the movie, gives you a whole different perspective. Yeah, we saw the whole interaction. And like you said, Rodney, you ever had a big dick inside of you, that could have been a little space off, but space back. She came back with the little foot, still happy, until dude came and made himself visible, like, bitch, get over here. It's time to go. And you saw him walk off and everything else. And then a couple days later, bam, you have this alleged, all these words, this assault and all this.
Oh,
so that's why it was a money grab. It was a hustle.
It was a very next day.
On a black man, on a famous black athlete, former athlete with money that's already been in trouble with history, like Dorian said, a chance to ruin him. That's why Mike was fighting back for his life with this $100 million against this chain. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame you, Mike. I don't hate Dallas. As a 49er fan, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, back to you, sir. Let's keep it moving on Michael Irvin.
Is how it affected Michael Irvin. You know, like I said, he didn't get a chance to do the Super Bowl.
I was about to talk
about that. He lost money. You know, he lost wages, and he was guilty until proven innocent.
you just read off
that reality we live in today's society.
You just read off to the point. As I was saying earlier, think about the fact that he's been in trouble before. Mm-hmm. Right? One of the funny stories he told was about him and Mike Tyson being on probation and hanging out with T.O. So you have to think about, my point is that Mike lost, he understands how precious a reputation is, mm-hmm. because he had to build that rep back up. Mm-hmm. to get to the point where he was, able to be on NFL Network and so on and so forth. So the last thing he wants to do is lose that reputation again, because it took him a long time to build it back up to where it is, to where it's gotten to be. Right. So now you got these accusations that could kill his reputation again. And if they come out to be true, he's basically going to be done on television and all that kind of stuff or whatever, particularly in the environment that we're in now. Right. Mm-hmm. Which again, it goes back to your point of why it's so difficult for men to defend themselves. Right. So he understands his reputation is precious, even more so, I think, than the jobs and so on and so forth, because his money is made. Right. But reputation is a big deal. And so he's trying to save his reputation again, because he knows how precious it is and what it's like to lose it. Mm-hmm. And so that after all them years of building it back up, he can't allow something like this to ruin, what it took him so long to build back up.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, Mike can't work. He already guilty. And like you said, the reputation that it took him the last 20 years to build back up, they're trying to take from him in a matter of seconds. And he like Dante said, hey, I applaud the man for fighting. I pray that what he says is true, and that he will come out on the positive side of this.
And hopefully we don't get that actual audio that only Dante heard.
Exactly. Hopefully they hear that audio. we don't need that one to come out. So, all right.
I told y'all, I didn't need audio. I'm silent movie, man. I didn't.
Like I said, it's like load management for kids.
Right.
I mean, think about it. We played all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got these, young guys. Well, we don't want to play them because we don't want them to get hurt. Well, they are basketball players. They're paid to play basketball. So, I mean,
but the thing is,
if they're that fragile, then
the thing is, you don't want them to play in the summer league, but they're gonna be playing pickup games next week.
Yeah,
so let them play in the summer league. at least it's NBA sanctioned. Let them do that.
Right.
But
and they got insurance.
Exactly. One observation I did make with Wembanyama is I think that based on his skill set and what he does, because he sticks around the perimeter a lot.
Ooh, an awful lot.
He sticks around the perimeter a lot. San Antonio will do good to get a big bruising center that can go into the paint for these first year or so until he can get his strength together and go down to because he'll be a 5, but right now I think they're gonna have to play him at the 4.
You know who he kind of remind me of? This was kind of crazy, but one of your old guys, Porzingis, like a real big, tall center. Big guy.
He's Porzingis with handles.
Totally around the perimeter.
That differentiates him. He has handles.
And can defend on the perimeter. I think he defends on the perimeter. I thought watching him play against Brandon Miller was very telling.
Oh yeah, his overall skill set I think could be better than Porzingis. I think Porzingis is a better outside shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way he, like you said, he hangs around the perimeter. That's the first thing I thought of. He moves like Ralph Sampson. But
but yeah, I think they do. I think they do better by keeping him at the 4 and getting the big bruises like a JaVale McGee to go in there and bang the fellas.
Because somebody's gonna have to rebound.
Somebody got.
Now you sound like Charles Barkley.
Yeah,
go in there and bang the fellas. And when you in there and you banging them and you.
and frying for sucking.
Hello, D. Speaking of banging,
we about to talk about Zion.
What's up with your boys down in Houston, man? What's up with your boys down in Houston, D?
The Banger Boys.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this. Everybody, I saw Kwame Brown's comments about it and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just gonna say that cats play in different ways.
They was playing.
And,
they look very playful,
right? And so, all I can say is that that's among their friend group. And if that's acceptable among their friend group, then hey, what can I say about it? That's certainly never been acceptable among our friend group. But when I say that guys play in different ways, I look at it this way. I remember when we played baseball in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we used to do, that was a team thing that we used to do all the time with each other, is we would walk around and we would still on each other. Like if you were sitting there on the bench and then you didn't see somebody coming, wham, you get stole on during the game, on the bus, all kinds of stuff. And people would be like, man, y'all ain't gonna hit me like that. Ain't nobody gonna be hitting me like that. But that was just something that we did among the baseball team. And other people didn't do it, but we did. So if that's how they play, then that's on them. I just know that that's not the way that we play.
Hey, we used to do that when we were in class. The teacher asked you to read a paragraph, and you be back there read, and she's looking at her book, following. Right, we're still on you while you're reading.
Right.
So remember your book on the floor.
remember when Johnny and them used to be, because we started doing it too, but remember when him and Michael DeBruce and all of them used to run around chopping each other all the time? Oh, yeah. Like wrestling, chopping each other in the throat and all that kind of stuff. And we was like, man, so that's all I can say about that. It looked crazy, don't get me wrong, but hey,
that was a lot different than stealing on each other.
So hold on. A lot different. We do have to step back just for 1 second, because we just started talking about our reaction to it, but we didn't tell the people what actually happened. So we're not going to show you what happened.
Said, do we have to?
I'm not going to show you what happened. But if you want to see, just type Jalen Green and what's his name? Josh Christopher. That's all you got to do. Type Jalen Green and Josh Christopher, and it'll come up and show you. There was
Did I spell his name right? Hypocracy.
I don't think so. But I think it's just Jalen, but it's close enough.
Like Jalen Rose. Okay.
Oh yeah, don't pull it up at work.
Don't pull it up at work.
It's
keep the
definitely
sound off.
NSFW.
And keep the sound off. So
And hide the women and children.
But it's a playful moment, quote, between actually former teammates now.
Happy playful moment.
That and it's actually, make sure you look at the whole video, because you'll see one that's like maybe 6-7 seconds long. Nah, you gotta see the whole thing. It went crazy. But anyway, it's some playful moments between teammates. Let's just say that. It's not normal play. It's really not.
It's normal for them.
It might be normal for them. But
so what do you think could be the after effects?
It's already done. They didn't trade. Houston traded the one that was getting pooped to where he go? I think they traded him to I think they traded him to San Antonio somewhere. They exiled him.
They traded the one that what?
They traded the Plukin, not the Pluker. So, anyway, y'all got issues, man. Y'all got issues. Issues up in here. Issues up in here. All right.
But one thing. Well, never mind.
Was that one of my? I was said somebody tailgate party, but
oh no! Come on, dudes. Y'all try to get us. We gonna get censored, man. We gonna get censored. All y'all these jokes. So okay. That's enough talk about Jalen Green.
Yeah. Let's get away from.
We gonna call him Plukin. Hey, Plukin. Plukin had a good duck today.
Oh man, my son.
Oh man. Hey man, calm down. Let's talk about. We got a couple more subjects to talk about. Come on, D.
Let's get it.
Get your face straight, man. Get your face straight.
Ooh, that was a rough one.
I can't. That's a tumor.
D player hurt today. Another coach staying with the Big Ten and even staying in the state of Michigan.
The great state of Michigan.
Yes, was one Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker.
Why, Lord?
Okay.
Why?
So here's the situation with Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker has been fired by the Michigan State University as a head football coach. 2 years ago, Mel Tucker signed a 10-year, $85 million contract.
$85 million contract
to coach the Sparties. And since he signed that contract, State has, let's just say, not done as well as they did before he got his contract. So there's a little animosity at the university in that regards. They were upset that they weren't getting the value out of this contract. Now our former host, Mr. Dante Nash, shout out to little Dante, was the conspiracy theory person on this panel. He had a conspiracy for everything. Well, in this one, I think there is a conspiracy going on because Brother Mel got fired because of a relationship he had with a young lady. It was a personal relationship, one that lasted, a year or so. And somewhere along the line, Mel and what you gonna say, Lil Mel came out to play. So, and the young lady, I guess, took offense
She
to
didn't
Lil
want to
Mel
play.
coming out to play.
Yeah, she didn't want to play.
Well, she didn't want to watch Lil Mel play.
Oh, he was sending pictures?
No, they were on a phone call.
Footage. Yeah, it was actually
They were on a phone call, and Big Mel and Lil Mel was playing together. So, she got a little.
Big Mel was giving Little Mel a spanking.
Yeah. Oh, Frankie.
Lil Mel was a bad boy, man. Lil Mel was a bad boy. And he was letting her know that Lil Mel was a bad boy. So, needed to be punished. So, stuff happens. Stuff happens.
Dear brother Noopsy, I should be punished.
But anyway, on a serious note, so the young lady, took offense to that. But here's where it gets a little dicey. And this is where I say the conspiracy comes in. She didn't report this to anybody for like 6 months. Right now, her and Mel had they had a relationship. Problem is, Mel was married, so that was an issue. And she reported this situation to the university last November, right? Well, university didn't bring this out until August, right? And again, where the conspiracy comes from, there's a lot of people like I said, people around the program that were upset that Mel lost 2 straight years to the other dude that Doran don't like, Jim Harbaugh. They had a much worse record than they suspected. The recruiting wasn't going along right. Coaches were leaving. Players were unhappy. So they didn't think they were getting the benefits that they were expecting by giving this man all his money. So now all of a sudden,
going to the football playoff.
Exactly. So now all of a sudden, you get this thing, and some people within the university, again, this is just I had no proof, but it makes sense this way. People in the university saw this as an opportunity to get rid of Mel Tucker, because now they're using this as a way to fire him with cause. And for those that don't know, with cause means I'm gonna fire you and I'm not gonna give you your money.
And I'm not gonna pay you. Right.
I'm not gonna pay you. Now, if it isn't true, again, Mel Tucker's position is this is a two consenting adults that were had a relationship. Yes, he was married. He was, for his family, yes, it was horrible. But these are two consenting adults that did not. Now, she did do a presentation to the university, to his players, but she didn't work for the university. So it's not like the Udoka situation, dudes, where it was someone that was under him, literally, that he had his relationship with. This is someone that didn't have a relationship with the university. So you can't use that as an excuse. But what they're going to say is, sexual harassment.
Yeah,
sexual harassment is what they're claiming. But how can it be sexual harassment if it was two consenting adults? And again, that's Mel Tucker's position. So Dorian, at what point? Okay, let's go there. So when an accusation is presented, right? Should you immediately ostracize that person and cast him out, or should you at least give him an opportunity to express his side of the story and get the details before you go out and ruin a whole man's career or what have you?
I mean, my personal belief has always been, let everything play out first.
Mm-hmm.
Every person deserves every person has the right to defend themselves. And I often think that people, well, unfortunately, it's about news. It's about people wanting to get the scoop and wanting to be the first to report stuff and so on and so forth. And so you always have this from the very beginning. You always have this outrage that comes from just the knowledge, because they assume that the person is guilty from the very beginning. As soon as there are any sort of accusations, then all of a sudden that's when everything, all of the criticism starts getting hurled out at the person, and people start lashing out and all this kind of stuff that we start to see happen. And more often than not, they do this before all of the facts have come in. So I believe that I believe that no one should be fired, no one should lose their jobs, any of these kinds of things, until all of the facts have come out and that person has, quote, had their day in court, so to speak. I've always believed that. So I hate these, jumping to conclusions and wanting to fire people off the bat and all that kind of stuff. I hate that because even if the majority of the time you're right, okay, but those times that you're wrong, well, you've ruined somebody's life. You completely ruined somebody's life. So I would rather, for whether you're right or however it turns out, for all of the facts to come out in a case first.
So here's my problem. Here's my problem with this. All right, like I said, I mentioned it. This came back last November, right? So you knew about the university knew about this accusation last November, right? But you let him go through spring practices, the whole summer for training camp, get the team prepared, get ready for their first game, and then you bring this stuff out. If you knew about this all that time, and if it was you're supposed to be doing your investigation, if you uncovered stuff during that time, wouldn't it have been better for you to say, hey, listen, you need to take a leave of absence while we continue to investigate this stuff, and once we get the stuff, once we get more information, we'll come back to you. Why, if it was such, again, sexual assault, why are you letting him still coach the team? What was your reason for allowing him to still coach the team?
Yeah, I think both of you are right. Unfortunately, we are in the generation of the cancel culture. And, like Rodney said, it could have been a plan to, get rid of him. And then, of course, using the cancel culture generation that we're currently under, definitely the public outcry was going to be so great that, and they right. knew this, that, the public outcry was going to be so great that you couldn't keep him. And so that was, and, they had their excuse.
So here's the thing.
And it's unfortunate, like you said, because the facts haven't even came out. But in this current cancel culture regime we're under, it is what it is.
So here's the thing. Someone had to release this information because, again, the information about Lil Mel that was leaked out there.
So is it Mel and Melvin?
That was leaked out there. Tucker didn't leak it, right? The defendant, not defendant, the plaintiff, the one that's making the claim, she said she didn't put it out there. So
maybe little Melly Mel, maybe Melly Mel released the information.
He's trying to let y'all know he's coming out.
He released something else there. He released something else. He got a
new mixtape release. But again, the conspiracy theory part says that they put this information out there because, again, there was never any physical contact or anything like that, right? And if someone feels that they've been sexually assaulted, by all means, go through the process, do what you have to do. If he's guilty, he's guilty. You know, put him in the jail. Do whatever you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as D said, you know, if this did not happen, and I'm not saying it didn't happen, but if it didn't happen, by the possibility that it did not happen, this man, his career has forever been ruined. Who's gonna hire the man that plays with Lil Mel?
His family name has been tarnished, you know, due to little Mel Lil Mel's release.
Right.
Yeah. So who's gonna hire him and Lil Mel? Nobody. Because you're gonna always have this out there. They're gonna laugh at this man every time he come into an interview. Yeah. You know, how Lil Mel doing today? I don't know, whatever. I don't know who's gonna be asking about Lil Mel, but I'm just saying.
Maybe
but his career.
Let me stop.
His career is forever tarnished.
How do we get caught up in these conversations? And then with our sense of humor, it could go left quick.
It could go left quick, right?
Hey, dude, he was Plukin himself.
A self-pluke.
He's a self-pluker. He's a self-pluker.
He was on camera taking plukies.
Issues, man. Issues. Okay, quick.
It's
We gonna do this forever, y'all. we gonna let's talk about another
his latest release.
Oh man.
Wow.
Mel Lil Mel and the Furious Five.
And what was the song? Beach Street. I'm on the road tonight. Let me take my hat off.
Beat Street, the king of the beat.
Y'all, we ain't been here in a while. We just having fun.
He was on camera about
Beat Street.
The king of the beat.
King of the beat.
See me rocking that beat from across the street.
Oh Lord. Oh, y'all got me. Y'all got me, Mel.
Wow.
Okay.
Lord, wow.
Okay, can we move? Can we move
Move
on?
right on.
Let's move on, y'all. All right, Mel, let me hide you, Mel.
Maybe that was his co-host.
Oh,
Mel Lil Mel was his co-host. Let me stop before I spit this juice out.
Stop it. Oh, all right. We gonna move on, y'all. We gonna move on.
It's closer to you in Michigan.
Whew. Oh man, hey, all right. The next subject, we're gonna stay in coaching. But the number one story in college football
In sports.
for the last 4 weeks really, is the Colorado Buffaloes and Coach Deion Sanders.
Prime.
We call him Coach Prime.
Coach
Prime. They started the season off like gangbangers. What it was the first?
You mean you mean like gangbusters?
He's from East St. Louis, y'all.
He done called the team gangbangers.
Hey,
we done with Mel, right?
Yeah,
Gangbangers.
We went from self-pluking to gangbangers.
Hey man, I'm still thinking about Mel Tucker. But Coach Prime.
Oh my God.
Coach Prime.
What a welcome back episode.
How do you recover from that
one? Y'all funny, man. Y'all funny. Coach Prime had his Buffaloes rolling.
Banging.
They was banging out wins. They was banging out wins. Oh, y'all got me all flustered, man. I gotta find the records.
Y'all got beat down, right? Michael Parsons got beat down. You had a good game this last week. Stick with that. Like Dorian said, wait till the season over. Wait till you retire. Podcast like other athletes. Shut your mouth. Let us talk the crap for you. Hit us up. Blame it on the book.
Yeah. That's what I gotta say. Yeah, y'all saw that. That's what he got to say. That's what he gonna say. All right.
Speaking of which,
what y'all got to say about this though?
Background, man. I ain't gonna tell you what it looked like. So
yeah,
tell us what it is.
What is that?
I'm sorry. Talking to me?
What is that?
What?
In the background.
In the background.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yes, we're talking to you.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
That you was pointing at. What is that thing?
To your left.
What is what?
Whatever that thing you was pointing at. What is
my 49ers. My 49ers.
That 49ers thing?
You mean on my 49ers gear?
Bruh.
49ers.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't touch
it.
Don't let it like that. Put it down.
So every time Dallas loses, you put money in there. Oh. This guy.
Put it to his mouth.
You must have this around the house.
Hey man.
Yeah, D used to have that around the house.
Oh man.
You're crazy, dude.
Yeah, Dora, where's yours?
Keep rubbing on it.
Stop rubbing it, man. Stop rubbing it.
So it's my Genie. I'm wishing for a Super Bowl.
if you stroke it, would you get a Super Bowl championship?
Native American Gourd. Handmade.
So if you stroke it, it'll release something.
So anyway, this is from the same family as
Release
a pump.
Genie.
A lot of dollar bills in here from all the Dallas fans that lost. I wish I could bust it open to show Rodney all the money in here from the Dallas fans that had to put money right there, Rod. My guys never seen a Gourd.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
This is great, y'all.
Hold on. I'm gonna bust it open.
So anyway,
wish I could bust it open. Bust it open.
Mel Lil Mel, that too. Y'all got problems, man.
Oh my God.
Can you put that away, please? Put it away. Put it away.
I do.
Before we get fined by the FCC.
Oh Lord.
He rub it and get a Genie out. He's gonna release that Genie on you.
Let me say no. Oh yeah. He coming with the porno music.
Get back to the show, fella.
With the porno music.
Wow.
Oh, that's your baby.
Bow, chicken, wow. Oh, hey man. Push it to the side, bro. Push it to the side.
But getting back to our show, y'all. Yeah, we have fun. We found y'all.
My God.
But that's actually that's a pump
Yeah.
It's
You
from the
pumping, all right?
You never seen one before. It's a squash. Basically, it's a squash.
Okay.
Okay.
You got to
All right.
your question goes. But what was at?
Yeah, Ryan, show it to you.
I want to see.
Before we so rudely interrupted.
I'm good. You bring out them toys, man. We bring out the toys. We don't know that thing, man.
He gonna release that Genie on you.
Man. Hey, man, let's talk about these Colorado Buffaloes.
A new release.
Oh,
Gene.
Somebody else that got busted open was the Colorado Buffaloes.
Prime.
Prime
busted wide open.
Prime had a hard time.
A long, hard game.
Prime had a hard time this past weekend. His Colorado Buffaloes got bust from behind. They were up 29 points and lost the game.
And they rolled away.
Breaking news. Jack Jones about to get cut. Oh, I got a cramp in my leg that's killing me right now. Lord help us.
You can't do those sudden moves no more.
I'm about to be on injury reserve in a minute. I got a trailer horse in my thigh. Oh Lord, Jesus!
Live.
All right, we got to end this right now.
But
it looked like it's already ended for you.
Oh Lord!
But you know something though? Speaking of other people who don't seem to learn their lesson, Tyreek Hill being investigated for assault. Right now, you know he didn't had a whole lot of trouble with domestic violence before, and now you again. I just don't understand how these cats continue to get themselves in these same.
I got a chicken horse. I'm in pain. Oh, wade in the water. Wade in the water.
We gotta talk about Tyreek Hill next week.
Go get you some pickle juice. Get you some Gatorade.
I can't move my leg. Oh, what Tyreek Hill do? Tell me about Tyreek Hill. What he do?
He ain't got a Charlie horse.
Oh Lord, it ain't going away.
Run.
I can't walk.
Y'all ain't right.
I'm in pain.
You don't have one of the rollers ride.
I got a roller. I'm in my basement. All right, let me stand up here for a second. Let me move. Oh no, that ain't good. Nope, can't do that. Hey man, get us out of here. Take us home, D.
Take us home, D.
Come on, Dolan. Get me out of here, bro. Oh Lord.
Hey, so because we have had a catastrophic injury on the set, we're gonna go ahead and end this now. We want to thank y'all. We want to thank y'all for coming. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see y'all next week.
And if you don't like what we said today,
Kiss it.
go. See y'all later.
Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. I don't blame it on the good times. on the boogie. Sunshine, sunshine, moonlight, moonlight. Boogie's got me in a super trance. Sunshine, moonlight, yeah. Good times, boogie. You just got that sunshine, yeah. Moonlight, good times, good times,
Bruh.
It ain't going away. It won't go away.
That was a great episode.
Man,
It won't go away.
Don't go viral.
Oh, it won't go away. I can't move my leg. I can't move my leg.